I know you try. Look in my eyes. It's over my thighs. Like I'm shaky with a knife. Death on my mind. Fall out the sky. I'm out of time. So let me die. I know you try. Look in my eyes. Silver my thighs. Like I'm shaky with a knife. Death on my mind. Fall out the sky. I'm out of time. So let me die. I know you try. Look at my silver my thighs like I'm chicky with a knife. Death on my mind, fall out the sky. I'm out of time, so let me die. Falling with the rain, tired of feeling this way. Why is my sky always gray? Can I find the strength to pray? No, I do not feel okay. Darkness is chipping away. Put a smile on my face. I'm just trying to run away. I don't need nobody else, yeah. I just do it, I'm all by myself, yeah. I'ma tell you, you can't go to hell, yeah. Cause I don't want it if it's your hell, yeah.
He was all alone from the time he was born. The only things he got from growing up were the will to fight and hatred. There was never anyone to love him.
I know you try. Look at my eyes. Silver my thighs like I'm chicky with a knife. Death on my mind. Fall out the sky. I'm out of time. So let me die. I know you try. Look at my eyes. Silver my thighs like I'm chicky with a knife. Death on my mind. Fall out the sky. I'm out of time. So let me die. Demons on my shoulder, but your tears are why I'm sad. She called me a monster, do you think it makes me glad? I know I got my problems and sometimes I let them spaz. And my thoughts are filled with you, PTSD drives me mad. Young say ignore this, darkness is all I had. Feeling all this pain, turn my sadness up a tad. Wearing all this guilt, drag me down like some shoulder pads. Light a cigarette inside the rain, then flick the fucking ash.
I could. But I was wrong.
That's
When I
crazy.
saw him on the monorail,
If I did
Yo.
not, if I didn't open Discord on my phone, I would not voted you reply. I saw you in here.
Oh, I couldn't answer I couldn't open my text messages for some reason. I don't know why my phone bugging.
I guess
All
I'll
right,
never
let me
really
just do
know.
one thing. Then I'm ready to go.
I just know it.
I mean, I need to talk to you about Kubera anyway because I'm just like I need to talk about this whole entire arc again, or else I'm gonna get lost and forget all the information
No,
that's in my head. I probably already did.
That's perfect, and that's why I wanted to do this. I was saying every 3 weeks, but maybe we might have to do it every 2. But I'm gonna just tinkle. And then we'll start.
Okay, bet.
I know you try.
Hey, Matt, get your dumb ass back in the car.
4 a.m. and stumbling. Feel regret, can't feel my face. Walking down these Tokyo streets. Wreck a bam that make me come. Coming on, tore up the黒い服気もそう冗談は寝るてるシカゴに飛んでいくトップから見えないフップのやつは wanna fly I know ブレッド on mine ゆっくりフラス like Mike yeah no トップから見えないフップのやつは wanna fly I know ブレッド on mine ゆっくりフラス like Mike yeah no When I walk in that Tokyo City Please don't call me bitches 歩く冗談で飛んでく富士海越え肌の色も関係はない汚れた手で稼いだマネー手元には何も残らねえこの超ラップで仲間たちとドリプレがこびや超ラップで超えるボーダーライン東京から発信してからだフライプライベートジェットでいつか太巻きでロールアップテイクオフするオーバースモーク
My screens? Yes, sir. Alright. I might have to make one
Yeah, because I'm in the wind. I'm gonna see if I can get inside somewhere. So I'll wait.
I was gonna say, yeah, you airbending over there. What's up, Ashu? East to west? Hey, what's going on? Man, I know for some of y'all, you got to react to that current TOG. Hey, man, Drama Ray is here, people. He has arrived. We are in the presence of a family head. That's just raw. It's kind of gas. Can't even lie to you. Where do I want to put this? Is the question. I'll make her a little smaller and I'll put us under. Twirly, twirly,
Is
twirly.
this any better? I'm inside of a building now.
Yeah.
I have a reverb though. Okay.
I could live with that. I think I'm good enough to fix that in post anyways if I have to. So
Well, I'm gonna see if I can switch to my computer if that makes it any better.
okay.
Cause yeah, I'm literally at school because I gotta be here to 7
Like 8,
basically.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
I know there's
8,
one day
yeah.
you're there for a minute.
Yeah, it's on Mondays. Worse, but yeah.
I guess getting it out the way off rip though, you know.
Yeah, that's how I see it. It's only one day out of the week. If it was multiple days, I'd probably get rid of myself. But
Yeah, cause what day for me was like that stupid all day, or ever have a schedule where it's like you have one class early, but your next class is OD late, like
yeah,
8 a.m. and your next class is like 4. That shit was
yeah. So you don't want to leave. So you don't want to leave. You don't want to go home.
see
That's me basically.
see I was away at school. I was on campus, right? So for me, I would just go home. So
Oh, okay.
wasn't a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But I remember having to hang out sometimes with some people who were like, they drove like 2 hours or an hour to school, and they're like, I'm here for a minute. Like I'm not. I'm like, dang, that's rough.
See, it's not that bad. I don't even think. Yeah, if I had to drive 2 hours to school, I just live here. There's no way.
I felt that in my soul. But all right. Wanted to have some compare discussion. I think it's important that at least every 3 weeks we talk about what's happening with the recent chapters. We could talk about, the Anata arc in general, since we last left off. I don't remember, but we could talk about everything. And then the recent chapters, and then we can go into like the fast pass stuff. Most of us here we read on Kubari and Manga Deck, so most of us are usually caught up to where they are. We just don't read the super raws, like the
Yeah. That's it. That's
because from
all.
my understanding they be reading like the raws in like text and then looking at the picture like somewhere else or
Oh,
something like
good
that.
lord.
And
I couldn't.
I don't like reading raws like that or anything like that. I can't do that. So I would rather read the worst possible translation, but it's just like actually on like the page, even if it's bad. That's my preference. So talk about Dayama. Oh, I will. I seen that comment. We gonna talk about it. I got it in the back pocket. But how have you been enjoying the arc though? All things considered.
I do like the art. Like I said, I still think it was an interesting decision to do this right now.
Okay.
But I also understand that like it's gonna all tie back into where we're going. So, but it's just that like this is the first time I'm reading it, ongoing.
Hmm.
So like, I'm just like, I don't see the vision yet until it happens. But I trust. I got trust. So like. But as far as like what's actually happening, um, I think it's very interesting with the how the fiendish magic. They're kind of touching more into like how that works, how like
Hmm.
because honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I think Fiendish Magic is cool, and like I kind of wish that little dueling section of the Fiendish Magic went on longer because I would like to see more abilities get used in different ways.
Yeah.
But looking at it, I'm not gonna lie. Signing up for Fiendish Magic does not sound like the move at all.
You're
Cause
you're
like
you're at the will and temperament of a Sura almost, right? And
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
you're at their mercy, and that sounds ridiculous. Like if they just feel like you know what, I don't mess with you no more, they could just like stop, or just like you're in trouble. Like I don't really like that. Too many restrictions on my own power. So the god magic is probably the way to go, even though the swords seem to have cooler magic or just different ones in some way.
oh yeah, because like, well, I think I'm of the mind personally speaking. Like, obviously, I'm gonna want to be able to fight in some way, shape, or form. So I might have to just capitulate to the way the world is. But I don't like the idea of borrowing magic from anybody personally. Like, so I wouldn't want to borrow magic from the gods, Suras, whoever the case is. It's like I don't have some type of finite pool of energy to draw from within myself to like do shit. That's kind of what I would want to do, but you have to abide by the laws of your universe, so it is what it is. I if I could maybe if I really felt that for some reason I was possibly really cool with Asura, I could see myself maybe like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Give me a little San Yoga and Hemmings magic, you know what I'm saying? I'll do something crazy, but Oh, yeah, I read the raw. Sometimes they give you some insight that you might miss on scans, but I get what you mean. I mean, if anything, I would read it after. If that's the case, that would be dope. I would read it after, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't read it before, I guess. But I'm sure there's that. That's why I always say it's important for these things to um to read multiple translations. I'm always been a big fan of that, whether it's official or not. I don't believe in just the official translation being the canon because sometimes I think it's worse, personally speaking. Surahs greater than gods. I feel it. Yaksha was the only one I had to work with. I feel that. I'm not mad at that.
See, yeah, Yashka, Shuri. I'd probably do it with Shuri.
Okay.
Yashka, uh,
You're not trying to use.
Kanari before
You're trying to.
Kanari before we got the Kanari now.
You're not trying to
I
use San
probably would.
Yoga Maruna. San Vega Maruna. Not trying to use that, bro.
Crazy.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, there's a couple of ones, but anything like Garda Harva
Nah.
or what's her face Saga and her people, like nah, we good.
I feel like Gandhi would give me a spell that kills myself. You just be over there keying laughing. Nah. Can't go with Gandhavra. All day, but Phoenix Magic is like it's fine depending on the Nasika, Yaksha, Shuri, Manaka, etc. I'm not mad at that, but still, I just I just like obviously I'm just inserting myself in the story. I think it's cool and stuff. Like I think you have to find whether define if Phoenix Magic works better for you, and there's a bunch of different variables you have to account for. But I just know me. I'm a guy who's anti-authority. I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like being anyone at the mercy of anybody. So if I could become Raw without using Divine or Phoenix Magic, that's the path I'm taking. But if I have to, I'd probably go with Divine though. But only Nasika, San Nuga, San Vega spells, so no Maruna. Damn it, Maruna, bro. Damn it. But okay, with this recent chapter, I'll start with the chapter that's out like online right now, right? So this is the recent chapter where Yama pulls up on Indra after Indra did what he did, and
Okay.
what I am starting to really like about this current section of the story is just the general interactions with multiple gods, whether it's the King of Aztecas. I don't remember if there's a couple of fourth Zen over here. Maybe they're all fifth Zen, but just seeing them all interact and seeing everyone's clashing ideals, personalities, and the way that they believe things should go. I think is coming out full force here because I do think Surya's the god of light rejection and Yama's discontentment is very interesting in contrast with like I remember at one point Chandra's like you didn't even stay to hear him out like that's illogical like they're all their personalities are coming out too and I what I also enjoy about this too is if Chandra is amongst humans, wouldn't you argue that he's a little more condescending because obviously he's like the highest authority there more often than not? But seeing him here, where he like Indira's here, the king of Nazca stuff, you're seeing a more subdued version of him. It's not to say that he doesn't believe in the things he believes in, but it's a little more reserved. Like I'm noticing a little things like that that I really like Vayu and whatnot too. Because
Well,
even
also
Yama,
he's a
go ahead.
yeah. He oh no, I'm just saying. Also, he's around a bunch of beings that potentially could be stronger or kill him. So that's
Exa-
maybe why he's
Oh,
not the
absolutely.
way he is.
Absolutely. Only Anaska. Oh wait, many Anaskas tamper with Phoenix magic to deal with boredom. They like blow up the magicians and their allies for fun. See, see. Oh no. Ashvin's yellow hair and maroon red hair are forms. Then okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for pointing that. Yeah, I love you guys. You guys just know they have the knowledge there.
Yeah.
Is
See, I don't talk about this series enough with people to like remember every detail. That's kind of the problem. Like we would need to talk about it more because like I haven't talked about like every aspect of the series in like weeks now. So like yeah,
because the last
I'm
thing
glad
we
y'all
did
on
was
top
the
of it though.
threads and the little power scaling thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pegasus Ichigo. He commented or they commented. Shout out to them. But so yeah, I Yama has always been a character of interest to me, but he always had like a background role. You know what I'm saying? Like he just kind of did his thing. He just does his paperwork. He deals with the dead, but like I've always wanted to tap into more of how human souls are dealt with, reincarnated, and but like visually kind of see it and actually we could get to experience it in full time. Yama's like general discontentment here, I really like because I guess he's a character that I know gets irritated and frustrated by things going on, but he's always seemed to take a back seat to everybody in the back burner. And him pulling up, grabbing Indra like, hey yo. what is good with you? I said I did not expect that type of energy from him. Sorry, 1 second. Surya literally made a weapon to beat up Chandra. He knows when to keep quiet. Yeah, yeah. Because this is the weapon that Lila has, if I remember correctly, right? The spear that Surya used to throw at Chandra. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But did we ever know the full relationship of Ratri and Indra? No, not from my understanding. At least not yet.
Yeah,
He was
I
a
don't
little
think so.
more upset of why Ushaz was a baby again, but that's the closest we got. He didn't really even seem to really particularly say anything about I'm right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's what I like here. What did you think of Surya's objection and actually immediately throwing a spear at through Indra, which didn't do shit to him?
See, honestly that I'm not surprised by a lot of that because when they're around each other too, they seem to be like more like childish and things of that nature. So it's like they also know they could like come back
Mm-hmm.
to life and stuff like that. So they don't mind like being violent with one another
Mm-hmm.
when they disagree. So that's not that surprising. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I didn't expect Yama to be so. I knew he had a lot of like I don't know what the proper word is, contempt or just like
Resentment,
disagreement.
hostility,
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah,
case is.
yeah.
I know
With
what
a
you mean
lot of
though.
the guys, yeah, because you could definitely tell he doesn't agree with a lot of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm surprised because like, but also just the form that he do that makes you really realize he probably is definitely. Well, we know that for sure now, but we definitely knew that like he's one of the stronger ones. Cause I don't think you could just do that to someone of Idris' strength. If you didn't believe, you could at least match him.
Or handle him in some way, shape, or
Yeah,
form. So
yeah.
but yeah, Miles, if you met Ushas instead of Ratri, no, I'm not entirely sure what the full extent of their relationship is. I'm hoping to get into it because of course he was very upset by what happened. I'm not sure why, so we'll see. You must agree that Indra is really funny. He is. I think is a character of intrigue. The problem is now he's opposed to Yama, and my allegiance is clear. So it's fuck Indra right now. That's all it is. It's not like I don't dislike it, but sometimes I'll like two characters, but if you pit them against me, my allegiance might be made clear right then and there. So if you talk like Astra and Brillis, love them both, but it's Team Brillis, all right? So that's exactly
So
that's how I'm looking at this right now. If you remember Naya, even in the finale, Yama wasn't very cordial towards Vishnu. I'd probably have to revisit that, but still, I guess the point. I guess you're adding on to the compounding to the point that like obviously there's a lot of discontentment and like disagreement and things that he's seeing and whatever. Like he may not particularly agree with the way things are going, but he tends to at the very least make sure that his job he's doing it to the best of his ability, which I respect.
yeah, yeah. I think he knows that he has a role to play. Even see, because the thing is, this whole story is always centered around getting to the greater future.
Hmm.
So even though Yama completely disagreed with the notion of how the other gods and beings are going about this, he still knows he has a part to play as the person who does all the shit with death and the sins and the souls. He still has a great part to play in all that. So he can't just like not do his role, even though he's angry with everybody else. Because if he still wants to get to the best future, he has to play his part, even when everybody else seems to be doing crazy shit.
Hmm. No, I agree. No, I agree with that. Wait, do I still like Ran after we attack Lilith? Yeah, I mean she's fine, but I understand like having gone through a lot of what Ran is experiencing. Like we haven't gotten the full connector to get all the way back to present time. I understand it a lot more because I'm getting more and more context. Like I didn't know this guy basically ended up living for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands upon years now, not seeing his family and all kinds of stuff like that. Like you'll probably be a different person after the fact, and he's a human, even though he's a quarter if I remember correctly, or is he half actually? Ran a half or a
What
quarter? He's a quarter, right?
quarter? Thinks I think it's a quarter.
Damn, my brain not working right now.
That's,
But
that's
like,
what I said. We don't talk about this
but
like
at the end of the
enough.
day, he's mostly human, right? To the point where like
Yeah.
his lifespan is not supposed to extend to that level of that level of length. So it changed him. But I'm cool with Rand. Rand is a great character at the end of the day. One thing about me is even if I don't like a character, I'll always tell you if they're well written. Like you guys know I don't like Ganhavra, but I've never said he's a poorly written character. He's not moving me. Not me, bro. I like what Sura said here. just because, and we'll talk about how it comes full circle a little later. But he says like somebody who doesn't even have the courage to carry the guilt. I don't want to hear you talk about the greater cause because he's talking about toppling the greatest of the universe, which is Anatta. How much sin would it take to topple that? Indra's interest, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't tend to usually be aligned with the greatest outcome, in my personal opinion. I think he just be doing shit. Like when
See,
he, and by the way, him throwing that spear was funny.
Idra reminds me of what I thought a lot of these gods kind of would be when I
Whimsical,
first was. Yeah,
yeah.
he just childish, just a big kid with a lot of powers beyond what he should have.
Mm.
Because, like, for the most part, not many people can say anything or stop Idra from doing what he's doing. But he also seems to be very charismatic, even though he's kind of goofy. He seems to have a way to convince people to be on his side. So he's pretty good at that. Whatever he's trying to do. So yeah.
Mm. And then you start to get the contrasting beliefs here, and this is what I mean when I spoke about in my video the Kurigama's ability to create interesting dialogue. Like I call it the art of conversation. This is like what I'm talking about here. Because I'm about to get to something before I'm going to comment before we get something. Isn't he? He's the second most popular god? Yeah, apparently. And he's second most popular god after Vishnu, also probably the most loyal to the Primordial, so maybe that might have contributed. Fair enough. Even Hindu mythos, Indra is the king, but ain't that strong. Vishnu, Indra, then Agni, popularity wise, okay. It's probably a pretty boy thing because he seems to be the type to be fun to hang around it, but you get real tired after an hour. I felt that in my soul. You know, some people is like, okay, I could only deal with you in short bursts. Like I can't deal with you for too long. Indra, Indra just come across a nigga like, if I want to party or function, I'll talk to him for 5 minutes and then I'm done. Like I'm not gonna talk to him for the rest of the function. So so, Indra says, aren't those convictions of his? Because they talk about Surya. Surya's like basically his like he thinks a god should carry himself a certain way and uphold certain ideals and morals. And he said, isn't that too much based around like his like on humans? And basically said that the life of a single Nastica, in his opinion, is worth more than hundreds of millions of humans, isn't it? So what I like about that here is we started to see how their different minds clash and different beliefs and they hold. So like he's saying, I think the belief that holds the weight of sins above the value of power deserves to be respected as well. And then she follows Surya and dips. I like that. I like seeing that because when the gods are on a more even playing field, I like to see their discussions more often than not. It is it is always nice to see Kubera amongst the people, kind of trolling and doing his thing in his damn chibi mode. But you know, at the end of the day, he holds all the cards. I like when the playing field's a little more even. Unless I wanted to chime in, I could keep going though.
No, you can keep going, brother.
Okay. I really like Indra's point there. In mythology, Indra's not strong as Vishnu Shiva, but amongst the devas, he's certainly strongest. I really like that Indra's point there. In mythology, that is. But then again, Nastikas consume a lot of the universe too. Yeah. Um. I'm just gonna throw this in there just so you guys. I could probably, like, obviously, I could find it myself if I want to. But if there's like a really good book, channel, resource online that I could use to really increase my knowledge on Hindu mythology and folklore, please let me know where I can find that. I don't care if I have to buy a book or something. Let me know because I really want to add that to like my analysis when I'm talking about certain gods and stuff because I want to see how Kurrigan played around with, you know, various gods and concepts like Rajas and ever and how she utilized it within Kubera. Was she faithful? Did she remix it? Did she do the opposite and things like that? You pinned it on Discord? Did you really? I might just be a moron. I'll go check it in a sec. I'll go check it after. Kubera channel? Okay, thank you. Because I want to get my knowledge up with that. The value
See,
of go ahead.
I was just finna say with that part. I say, yeah, I wonder how much of this, like, obviously we know that the names of the people are based off the view, but I really wonder how much of like did she use of actual mythology, or did she just use it as like kind of like a base? Like she knew like
Framework.
yeah, like she knew like the stories of it, but then she completely threw it out the window. I
No,
wonder how much she.
there's enough that I've seen from the little that I know that there's some like um she's using a lot of references and allusions to it because like you know how like sometimes you might find a character in a show and it's like he has a lightning ability when his name is like Zeus, you know, like stuff like that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like there's a little things like that I can pick up on, but on the deeper level stuff, no, because I really know most about Greek, Norse, and probably Japanese mythology. It's my Chinese mythology and folklore is getting up there as a result of all of the Danhua and like Manhua I've been consuming and stuff as recent, like with Neja and like Ao Bing and certain other gods and certain other deities. But like, yeah, I gotta get up there though. She just uses the basics, which is fine. It's fine if she's just using the basics, but still, like, I'm sure a lot of this goes over my head because at the very least, even if it's just like a name and she references one thing, I would like to know. I like to really catch those kind of things. It's like to like use a video game example. I know the Final Fantasy games aren't connected, right? But I'm still a guy who would rather play it from 1 to 15 or 1 to 60 now, I guess. Even if it's just like a character reference, a weapon reference, something in the menu, like Easter eggs, I just like being able to catch those type of things. It just overall enhances my personal experience. For example, with Xenoblade, right? The blades in like the second game are called BLADE, like a acronym for something. But then blades in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are like the weapons in which drivers fight with. They took the same concept, the same name of BLADE blade, but they use it differently. It's not related to the other story, but I can see that there's a reoccurring theme here. The same thing with the character with the Vanguard or Van in their name throughout the Xenosaga, and Xeno Chronicles games. I just like being able to call upon that because it's like a good extra tidbit. That's really all, though.
Yeah, I see what you mean by that. I feel you on that. But yeah, I was really wondering. I was like, how much of this is she like? She actually using?
Mhm. The story is completely original outside the names and some concepts. In actual mythos, Aryavada's the elephant, but in Kubera's Kinaro's elephant. I like stuff like that. It's really cool to me. Things like causality, karma, and enlightenment at the top, reincarnation. There are some neat references though, like in the mythos, Aryavata injured side an elephant, and we know that he has helped out Kinara in the canon story. Some people theorize that hints to how Arya was supposed to be the actual king of the Kinara clan. Yeah, I mean, based on what was happening with that power hierarchy, it's not hard to believe that. But yeah, so Indra goes like on that mark. I ever wondered how much cities need to topple the pinnacle of the universe? And I think this is when we transition back to the Daksha stuff. How invested have you been in the Enon, Daksha, and the other girl and stuff like that? Have you been invested? Have you liked it? Like I'm not sure how you're feeling about that.
So. I'd probably have to review how I feel about a lot of it, but I'm walking to another building, so my
Mm.
bad for how I sound.
No, you're good.
But yeah, a lot of the stuff in this arc is kind of like, not that I'm not enjoying it. I just haven't like, I don't think I fleshed out like how I completely feel about these new characters, what they're doing. Like, I don't know. I ain't got that because we've been around some of these old characters so long, so I don't know how I feel about all these new people yet.
Hmm. Yeah, sins are definitely a significant theme in this story. 100%. What I was gonna say is I have a vested interest in Anon a little bit, partially because I believe Rand being here to some degree could actually I didn't even know if he no because Maruna got sent here. For all I know, he's not here. But getting the tie to Rana's lineage, her ancestry, I guess is somewhat important. And I generally like how he just carried himself. Like he was here on some revenge shit for real. He's trying to body the king. Like he wants him to f out of here. And I think my next level of intrigue came. Obviously, you saw him use San Yoga on Nata, which was crazy. And then at the end of this chapter, that nigga pulls up on him like, hey. And I said, oh my God, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would say. I will admit that Daksha, what he did to the Knights, I don't really care that much. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, facts.
I don't think she's done a poor job trying to make us as an audience care about it because the girl here is obviously feeling a type of way about it and a nine is feeling a type of way about it. I just don't give a damn. These are nameless people who died in the past tense, so I don't really care because
Yeah,
either way they're
definitely,
dead.
definitely.
You feel me? But
Hmm.
they're cool. How do I feel about Rana? Some people dislike her. I have no problem with Rana. Rana's cool. I was rooting for their relationship, honestly. So when they finally got together and had some kids, I was very happy. And I think the special chapter is also adding like the the thing that keeps her looking young because she's pure blood is actually the little ears that the Yaksha clan men tend to actually be attracted to. Like all that's well taken in full circle, but I think she's a strong character. I think she's good. I have no problems with Rana. Um, what about you?
No, I like Rana a lot. Rana's really, I feel like she's a relatively good person as far as good of what we get in this story.
Yeah.
And she's very like not simple minded, but she has a very simple goal. She just wanted for her and Rand to be together.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we kind of see the backstory of kind of like why that is a little bit. It's so crazy how she does that, and
Yeah.
like I've seen that in like little small versions, but this is the first time that we see anything go this giant of just like, man, he was all the way back in time and saved her when she was like a kid on another planet. Like that's some crazy, but like no, I like them.
Mm-hmm. The King backstory is actually surprising and a good highlight of the arc. I think when you realize, I mean, we talk about it. The fact that they were kind of really more scared of breaking the contracts with the Suras. I think that adds an extra layer of intrigue that I like. But I feel that I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I think that is the most
yeah.
like important part of that. They were so scared of the Suras
Hmm.
that they were just like, you know what, we rather just allow you to do this with your discrimination
Hmm.
than we would to actually like break this off.
Precisely. Burrow that Kubera and that discussion was so dope. You gonna get to that. Like how she wanted Rand to, she talked to Rand to taking the priest job when he didn't want to do it. Like that's why people don't like her because she's like a bit of a like nagging wife. That's just how it is when you get in a relationship. You get sometimes you get nagged, bitched, or a little bit like incentivized or pushed to do a little something. So I just that's just how it is. That's I'm not mad at that. Like end of the day, if he really, really, really didn't want to do it, he didn't have to. He could have said no. So
I mean, Rand can be pretty like aloof
yeah, Ryan's kind of a
sometimes too.
ditz. So he
Yeah,
needs some
yeah,
structure. he, need,
yeah.
he might he might need a little guidance. So it's I'm cool with that. That's not bothering me. That's just relationship dynamics more often than not. So people dislike Rana for the pettiest reasons. Give me some. Give me some. What else did they say? This is actually kind of intriguing. I never knew Rana was disliked. Why y'all like Manaka? She's the one y'all should not like. She's trash. Everyone realistic on offer is trash. Oh, that's funny.
See, I think the reason why people like and dislike them completely come down to dispositions. Like Manaka just seems like a good person and seems like a good wife, and her
Hmm.
personality is easy to flow with. So it's a much easier to be like, oh, I like her, even though she's completely protecting someone who's
Hmm.
insane. While Reina, it's just like she just seems more like a regular person, but people are just like, oh, like she's annoying because she's always nagging and telling him what to do and stuff like that, and they're projecting like, oh, I don't want nobody to do that to me. But like, nothing wrong with her. She don't do anything. Like,
Hmm.
she hasn't done like anything negative in this story really at all.
That's funny. How she groomed? Did she groom Rad? Was he groomed?
Crying. Wow.
Nah, that's not moving me. That's not
That's
moving
a
me.
that's a that's a crazy leap, especially
Uh,
since we know how ages and stuff work.
yeah, yeah. That's not moving me. That's funny though. That's funny as hell.
Oh, I'll backtrack a little bit because I didn't get to answer your question because I had to go like open up the Kubera chapter and go look real quick.
I
Uh,
have open on stream. What do you want to talk about?
no, I was gonna just talk about like Anan, like Anan, like he's super cool. You asked me before on I think on a previous, I don't remember if it was a call or previous stream. I felt about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I'd say I really, really like his character. Like
Mm-hmm.
his design is super cool. How he uses power, some of the facial expressions, like everything about him so far. And then the fact that he's like the first user of the bracelet, that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool. So
We'll
his
see how that.
partner though,
Yeah.
I don't care about her at all. Like I'll be honest, just nothing she does move me. Her design, nothing she says, nothing.
She
She
had
ain't doing
she,
nothing
she had
for me.
one moment that made me laugh when Marina was like, "Bro, how is she not noticing that I'm right here?"
Yeah, yeah, that was hilarious, bro.
that was that was funny to me because she on her solid snake. They can't see me, San Yoga, Kanara, or whatever. And Marina's is like, nigga. You're not stealthy. That other than that, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. That's funny. That's funny as hell. But
Yeah, the pink haired character from the latest in the Fast Pass, that character,
mhm.
that was the one that was kind of starting to move me a little bit. I'm just
Because
like,
he's
I
like, how
kind of,
could you like a world that the gods have obviously screwed up so badly? We're gonna get to that. I definitely was feeling that
yeah.
line they're talking about. So that's funny. Wait, Manaka is trash. She made it hollow. Asha is trash. Oh, oh no, oh no, 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 no. She is not. Oh no, no. Asha is
I'm,
indeed trash. No, we're not. They're not spitting, Miles. They're not spitting. No, they're not. She's the
see,
goat.
see, see. If you say something like that, but you like God of Harva, your opinion is completely invalid to me. I don't got nothing to talk
Creditless.
about.
Credit
Yeah, you credit.
revoked. Credit revoked. Minus
Cause
800 points from Gryffindor.
yeah, cause Asha not even trying to like be good. She's not faking her way to acting like she doing this for you people.
Mhm.
She don't move for y'all like that, man.
I do like these type of like this a little bit reminds me of the Rachel stuff. I do like this type of stuff when we talk about a story like this because this story is well written enough that you could tell people's general ethical code and moral alignment based on what characters they like or what deeds they let slide. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I do find interesting about these conversations here. But Asha, I like we say our biggest issue with Gone Harbor for the most part is the fake nice. I'm actually a good person, like in betweener thing, where it's like Sagara just owns her shit. I'm doing this for the revival and that, and I for the most part I'll do what I gotta do. Don't really care. Like if a character is gonna be malicious, bad, underhanded, or hostile, we generally are two people who like that they own that. It's still like oh no, now Tio died. I'm gonna cry. Nah, it's too late. Save her life, you bitch ass nigga. I don't like you. I'm not trying to hear that. It's not moving dynamics. That's all I'm saying. That's all
That's
I'm
a
saying.
fact. Me neither.
So yeah, I love it. But Asher overall though. Sorry. But
Sorry. Yep. Sorry.
let me see now. And as the best boyfriend in Kubera, I'll never agree. Our queen nothing wrong. And Nancy's kind of similar to Rand. I could see some overlap. Nah, there's a debate in our community after this arc ends. Let us know who you like more, current area Vata, Okanara, or Iravata. So you said, I mean, after the arc ends, let you. All right, so remind me. Kanara always be right. Gandhi the goat though. I love Asha,
Yeah.
but it's just he's the savior of the universe. Is Asha? Hold on, being the end bringer of the universe is equally as Roz being the savior. Hold on. She about to fuck some shit up? Yes, Sirski. I'm here for it. Manaka, Gib Cali. I like Cali. I'm a Cali fan. Yo, what's up, Tierra? How you doing? If you mess with Lees, you can kick rocks.
See, me
I
and
feel that
me and
though.
me and Chess have the same plan because I need area to do absolutely like I need it.
I feel that. I ain't mad at it. Okay, I'm gonna go to kind of end of the chapter after this part, and then we'll move into the fast pass, if you will. But okay, so I thought the part where all the people are saying to forgive the king, just forgive him, blah blah yada yada, is interesting because I want to know what he really did to get the people to be on his side to that degree. But I guess you could probably say it's multiple prognostications and premonitions that he gets right. The people just trust and follow him, but nah, I'm not gonna do that. You want to make him a member of the royal family, all kinds of shit like that. And then Maruna just analyzing this girl. He's like, "What's going on with her, bro?" And then she starts talking about forgiveness, sins. You should die carrying your sins, and it's starting to hit Maruna because Maruna knows she's not talking to him, but these words are obviously hitting him where it hurts because he knows that they can be applied to him.
Mhm.
It's very interesting how much introspection, I think Maruna gets forced to do that. Not forced to do, but as a result of how he's lived his life for so long and what he's going through. He's a character I see always reflecting inwardly on the things that he's done or doing or wants. I like that a lot about him. It's really dope.
See, it's kind of crazy though because you think like this could potentially happen for more like Gnostikas
Hmm.
and Rashkas and stuff like that, but I feel like this is like especially prevalent to him because like you said he's always kind of done this in his own way. Maybe he's like he wasn't thinking to this level that he is
I would
now.
say that his
Like,
belief system got challenged, and he's trying to figure out what's old that he still believes in that works, and what's new that he can accept into his current belief system.
right, and he was always somebody too that, he was just always like, kind of like, I have to do what I have to do for this reason. But like, unlike other characters, we would actually see dialogue of him talking himself into whatever reason he had to do what he had to do for,
Hmm.
whether it be out loud or his inner monologue. Because even when, like, him teaming up with God Harvo, with Sagara, stuff like that, like, he didn't necessarily want to do most of the stuff they asked him to do, but he also knew it's just like, I have to kind of do this, but like, this is why I'm doing it.
Hmm.
But then, yeah, this whole entire arc is like, you know what? Maybe you didn't have to do this stuff, or like, this stuff, Ron. He's like, man, like, he don't know what to do now. He's different.
Yeah.
He never had to think so much about these decisions, every decision he's ever made
No.
to this level.
And I do think that in some ways too, he's slowly and surely inching himself to a more leadership role. I think sometimes as a grunt, I say grunt not in a mean way that he's like just under or like a worker bee, if you will, but when you inch your way slowly to those leadership positions, you have to think about those things a lot more often. And I think he's because I believe at some point he's going to become the new king of the Garuda clan. I don't know if you're thinking that. I
No,
think
I
you.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't see no reason. My thing is, I guess my bigger question would be, how does he expand the clan again?
Hmm.
Because like, out of most clans, like, his clan is probably in the most dire straits at this point. Well, other than God of Harvest clan, obviously,
I
because
guess,
he left them all.
and
He left them
depending
all
on
to
how you
tend
see
to.
the dragons with their ability to not right now, I guess mass produce more, if you will. But
Yeah. Well,
um,
the dragons,
future
they kind
clans.
of, yeah, they kind of been like this.
Yeah,
Like,
for a
so I don't
while.
know.
Okay, fair enough. They're
Yeah.
they found their way. There's no need to universe Asha for the win. I think that he is sympathetic to those close to him. Like the king really cares about those around him, other than his hatred for halves. And and a lot of those humans echoed his sentiments and hatreds towards the halves. You're right. The people believing in the king to that degree is probably thinking just funny. Like you don't tell me to be like, oh yeah, he said sorry. You say forgive him. No, bitch, you don't know what I'm going through. I decide if I'm forgiving him or not. Don't tell me what to do. That's all I would say. But no, you're right though. Ghani didn't do anything to deserve being the savior though. At least Asha's conviction is respectable, yeah. But he got to dumpster Tio City to cope with losing her. Oh shoot. Sagara cute though. I like Sagara. Garuda clan more like Team Garuda. Hey. Laruda, Waruda. Hey, man, I like the Garuda clan. They are in my book. But yeah, shout out to Maruna, man. Like his character just keeps growing. Now, who's this guy? Has he been there the whole time? I need to see. I didn't like my contractor's order, bro. You see that sweat mark? I said, oh my, oh. I said, why he pull up like that? That is dangerous. And here it says, Chandler note, contractor's orders. The use of Korean word here can mean order or spell. Kurigama's comments. Indra, who was in a hurry in the last episode, realized that this was hell and became more relaxed. Nigga was relaxed in hell. Look at him, demon. But yeah, so from this point on, obviously we'll be technically three chapter going 1 to 3 chapters ahead. So this is the fast pass section. Welcome, but yeah. So let's see now. Can Maruna get strong enough to match the king of of Nasticas? Here's what I I have a theory on Maruna, but my problem with Kubera theories is I don't believe in anything I say. I don't trust any theory that I have in my
Yeah.
head. Not one. Because sometimes I'm about to say something, I'm like, I'm not I don't want to sound dumb. That's just
See,
not whole
see,
fact. Go ahead.
this series is like, like, I'm interested to read y'all theories and other people's theory, but for me, this series is impossible to theorize on because there's such a large like, I don't know a concise way to, like, oh, this is the limits of what this theory can and can't be. Like in Tower of God, I can kind of do that.
I hear
I
you.
could be like, yeah, I can be like, okay, what you just said, none of that's happening because he's probably not exploring nothing outside the tower. So like, knock it off, like throw that out of there or
Hmm.
something of that nature. But in this series, this is universal. What am I supposed to do? Like anything is possible, kind of in some ways.
Yeah.
So like, so
And with the way that we do time traveling too, it adds another layer of unpredictability, right? So all these
right, yeah.
possibilities. You feel me?
Cause I'm like, what monkey wrench is she gonna throw in to make him evolve? 'Cause, like, for example, like Chess was around for millions of years or whatever, or he been around for a long time, and we didn't even know why he couldn't evolve. I'm like, yeah, shouldn't you have evolved by now? Like, you've been around like the longest, and it's just like, oh, he didn't make it to the fifth stage because he had trauma holding him back. And now I'm looking at Maruna, I'm like, he could just simply reach this point just from like continue to being through time, just through time. But like, it's an event that's gonna trigger it. But I'm like, what event at this point if it hasn't already happened? Like, we just seen him
Like he's grown
feel.
so much too, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Like, I'm already seeing him feel empathy for the first time for humans, and that didn't make him evolve. What is going to happen now that's gonna make him reach that level? I have no idea.
Like, what will it take? What will it take?
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. Actually, I can flip this. I think this image here. Can I flip this in a way that I like? Asha. Hey, there we go. But back to the theory thing. I just think that if Maruna can tap into his original ability when he was a child before his death, I think he could surpass the Kings or be on par with them.
Hmm.
That's my I have more layers to that because like I low key want to talk about the fact that I was thinking about the blitz tactics that Tara came up with and why I think his Crimson Sunshine of Dawn is going to be very important, especially with dealing with the Tasaka clan and stuff like that. But again, I'm I'm gonna keep that crackhead theory to myself till I'm ready. I'm
Wait,
keeping
wait,
that to
wait.
myself.
Quick question, I guess, or kind of tied to a little off subject, but kind of tied to the subject at the same time. So, if we're leading, because Maruna's like, do we know any? Well, let me ask this first. Do we know any Rashkas becoming kings or queens other than him? Like, because normally ain't just other Nazcas just take over from the position?
That's a good question. I don't remember exactly. Chat, help me. I don't remember.
Yeah, because I mean, isn't this kind of like a? I don't want to say like a super. Because we seen like obviously like
You said
other Gnosticas disappear,
there's
but other
no
Gnosticas took
precedence.
over.
Yuta
Yeah,
became king. Okay.
but Utah's kind of different because Cali created the clan, so it's already like a big
Yeah.
outlier of itself.
It's like not. It's more of an exception, not the rule. Shit came out of
Yeah, because
nowhere. Aruna's name. You can oh, do you guys think they can reclaim his name? That'd be interesting. I wasn't even thinking about that. We were right because powers are in the name.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, because I was thinking about it too. Like, if he could just even access to whatever ability they really liked about him, because Ushaz and Ratri wanted to do it, but obviously he had to recover his vigor, blah blah blah. So, okay.
Well, okay. So where I was going with that, because I'm assuming through
Oh,
assumption's
that makes
sake,
sense, Basara.
through
You go,
through assumption's sake, that like the ultimate goal is to place people like Maruna in power for the best possible future, because Maruna will understand the human perspective.
hmm
But like, but what does that mean for like other Gnosticas that are kings and queens? Because they ain't gone through the journey that Maroon gone through. So like, how are we gonna get the rest of them on the same page?
hmm
Because they're like, they're not even in the story that much. I mean, we've seen them here and there, but like, they don't interact with humans or do anything like that. So like, how would you get them to turn the page and be on the same thing that Maroon is on?
Okay, I hear you. So hold on. No, Rakuto's becoming king kind of means the clan is ducked, except Yuta. But because all the Nastikas died, the Nastikas will have to die normally, so the strongest of the clan becomes the king, with the one outlier situation we know a little bit for a time at least. That's why Aksha pushed for Runa to be restored. Clan already. Mm. Like, okay. And I was doing something else earlier. What did Ashley say? You could theorize of who could potentially be Billa's child, and have we seen them? I could, but like, I'd be very honest. I don't think theories is my strong suit as an analytical dude. That's not really my strong suit. My,
Mine either, at least
I
not for
think,
this series.
I think what I do best is I take the knowledge we have and really break it down and really
Yep.
make it make sense. And especially in hindsight, and I could tell you how it's recontextualized old scenes like that. Like when it comes to critical thinking, deconstruction, and analysis, that's probably where I excel. Because I'm not the problem with theories with me too is confirmation bias.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you're just looking for something that you could just spin to help make your case. And I think too many people get caught up in that, and I'm like, there's three obvious immediate contradictions here, but you chose to spin it a certain way. So I don't know, but I could just be having PTSD from One Piece theories. That might be
See,
it.
my thing is for theories is that you're trying to make a large leap of future events. I
Mhm.
can take a mini leap. I can't take a large leap
I agree with that.
of events because, like, for example, if I'm guessing like, oh, like, okay, let's say we're further back. What's the reason that Vishnu gave Asha, the powers before we knew before, or something like that? There's no possible way I could have like came up with that. But if you would have asked me, what's Asha's goal in the next arc, or what's her next move? That's something I could potentially theorize because that's a smaller leap. A gigantic leap, I can't do that. It's too much, too many moving pieces, too many things that, like, yeah, like you said, I kind of need like. I don't like not having knowledge. I don't like making leaps like that because I like to know what's going on. I don't like throwing that stuff out there without
Yeah.
having knowledge
It's fun
already.
to
And
do. I don't mind doing it here and there sparingly, but like you probably wouldn't notice if you just look at my channel. I hardly theorize for any series that I make. I have small prognostications and speculations of what's going to happen in the near future, but that's really about where I cap it off.
yeah, I'm just not good at it. I think rather than it being
That's kind of what it is
something
too.
that's
It's not
fun,
my it's just not my
yeah.
strong suit, and I don't really do things I'm not great at all the time. I don't know. But anyways, probably not enough to match the likes of Vitra Yaksha with even with the name Maruna. Sell like too much a power up to me, and Kubera's not like shonen manga in which characters get consistent power ups. But it's also not a series that necessarily focuses on combat. Like not all conflict, and I always say if most of your conflict is settled by might makes right, your power scaling is going to be extremely important.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's like one of the top 5 things you ever say. Because I even think about that, like with like I've just finished reading Tokyo Ghoul again,
Mhm.
and I'm like, man, a lot of things in this story, as far as like combat stuff, I want to let slide because the themes, the thematical stuff is really good to me.
Mhm.
But like you said, if most of your conflicts are being resolved by fighting, then I can't just let you go for not being good at that. That not being a good element of your story.
Which
But
is
Kubera, see, I don't got to worry about that because she don't really do that. So
Yeah, it's not like we could honestly truly say we're not here for combat. And while there is some traditional action here and action and cool Sora kaiju type battles, it's not what we're here for. And while there's probably a hierarchy of strength and stuff, I don't think a power up like that would really be that much of a big deal for a thing like this. But I would argue that execution would be the most important thing for something like that. Because if there's a proper way to exchange names, take a name, give it to someone else, reclaim your own name, find it some way, and a Maruna becomes a Runa again, I'm okay with that. Personally speaking, but I understand what you're saying though. You're like it's just not. This is not a series where we just hand out power ups stuff like that. So I hear what you're saying, but yeah.
I feel like this series, if you're gonna criticize anything about it,
Mhm,
it's mostly of how big of a leap of logic do you think the connector points of certain
mhm.
actions make sense to you? And
We're not here for Gandhi XTO. Stop. Keep going. Keep going. Keep
yeah, that's just mostly how I see this series. I'm just like, what what could she write that I couldn't believe that would not be believable to me? It's kind of like the biggest thing. I'm
And
like,
she's built up enough good faith and rapport with us too. Where like she'd probably have to do like 8 stinky things over the course of a year for us to really have a doubt set in like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. Because like everything she does, like I said, she's just so good at writing characters that I never thought I was gonna care about, and somehow at least making me interested in them.
Yeah.
Like, and then she does, like, I guess something you could criticize is like the amount of time, like if you don't, like you said, like that one time, like the amount of time given to those characters if you don't like them,
Hmm.
or just like you feel like it's a lot of like, see, and even then I feel like everything she does too, because a lot of stories have this problem where they seem to be doing things for the sake of just doing them. They don't feel like they're progressing the plot in any way possible. But even in this story, I never feel like that. I feel like everything has a purpose. I don't have a lot to like criticize because I'm
There,
just like, even if you don't see it now, it gets there.
there may have been an instance once or twice where I think something was probably a more of a rush decision, but I don't think it disturbed the story at all. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But other than that, no, like everything here seems to be well planned out. Then that's the thing. Like I mean, I could use a Kingdom Hearts example really easily. Like until I played a bad Kingdom Hearts game, you didn't even I wouldn't have to watch a trailer to play one. I'll just play them, right? But now you got one bad entry, and I'm like, now the doubt settles in. And with Curry Gum, I don't really have any doubt yet. I don't have any reason to really doubt her because
Well, she's the best at like I said, like
making
tying
your
up
long
loose
term payoff,
endpoints and
long term
yeah,
payoff.
yeah. Because the problem is a lot of writers they just kind of end up sidetracking arcs that we would care about as fans and viewers and readers and things of that.
Yeah,
Because like they might have not been the most important thing, but we still need proper conclusions to them. And
yeah.
she don't seem to have that problem. She says she's just like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know why? Here's Rand and hers, Raina and Rand storyline. Boom. Here's what happened to these people. Boom. What happened to these houses? She hits them all. She hits every mark. She doesn't let anything pass her by. Yeah, it's just that you have to wait a long time maybe to get them, but she gonna hit everything. She makes sure she legitimately feels like she's like really interactive with her own story.
Hmm.
She's not just like continue to make things and just like, did I write that? Like she doesn't do that. She seems to like go through her story and make sure that at least if nothing else, she gets to a completed point. You may not like how it ended or what happened, but you're gonna at least get something.
Yeah.
You don't have to ever worry about her just not doing it.
Mm. No. Yeah. I agree with that. I could see. I don't. Yeah. All jokes aside, Gandhi and Tio have a very interesting dynamic. Do they?
Well,
that's
okay, I'll
that's
give it
just
like
no, no,
this.
no. I'm just being, playing it up. But
No, no, I know, but I'm just saying. But in some ways, you could because like from a honestly from like a romantic chemistry aspect, it's a mixed bag because there's moments of it, but at the same time, like my blinders could be on because I just dislike him that much.
mm,
But but at the same time, I just think it's kind of interesting from an interest point of view that like his ultimate lover might end up being a human,
mm,
which is very interesting of itself, and also what she is, which is kind of funny because you think about her and she's not a super magic using person or anything like that. So she's already like a mega outlier. So I guess that's kind of like interesting and own that he's like supposed to be like falling in love with somebody who can't even use magic and stuff like that, or not really.
mm.
So there's some like aspects of their relationship that are interesting. So
That's not moving me though.
and
You're not wrong, but I'm not trying to see that. Now, I definitely laughed at this part. Like one thing I always like to give Kurigan credit for. I be laughing. It's just funny, man. I like how expressive these characters are and how vibrant their emotions can be. So when and that's like, hey, yeah, yeah, he's a merchant, and then Nata's like, hmm, and he's like, bro, I'll explain, please, please, I'll explain later. Now, look at this man. He is pleading for his life, bro. He is in danger. He's like, please, I will explain. I promise. That shit's so funny to me. He's so shook because I don't know what I would do. I said, bro, this man could like flick me to oblivion, and then he said he wants the bracelet, which is very interesting. I think it's when it cuts to the thing. Yeah, it cuts to the chapter stuff. It's like I can't take it off. And then look at like what vibe, and for a lack of a better word, or personal ambience are you getting from this Anata here? Because in in a couple of moments of seriousness, and we'll tie into the stuff where where Kubera pops up and everything, the god of Earth. He seems a little different to me.
yeah,
Okay,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
okay.
He definitely is not the same. He definitely is kind of he's a little darker. When we
Is he
first
being
meet him, he's
weighed down by sins? Like, what is it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go
that's what
ahead.
I think. That's what
Okay,
I think it is. Sins and indecision, because his sin is indecision.
yeah,
So like he's
bystander,
definitely
whatever. Just a couple ways it was phrased, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So he's definitely when we first meet him, when they meet him in the first timeline or the first time, he's
Mm-hmm.
very just like happy go lucky. He kind of just do what he wants. He's perfectly fine hanging around among humans and Yashka and stuff like that. Then we jump forward, and this he's obviously darker. It's kind of funny. He kind of like matches like the mood of the world too. I guess you could say in some ways, because like humans have changed. They're not the same anymore, and like they're darker. And like look at them, they got all this gray and stuff like that. And it kind of feels like he's matching that in some ways too.
Mm.
Like obviously, I don't think he's like very happy with like what the world looks like now either. But part of it, I guess, is just like his fault in a lot of ways because like they're like, you got the power to change that. So
Mm.
it's kind of crazy. It's like I don't know. It's kind of like it's just a lot on him, to be honest. It's a lot going on with him. So many people depend on him, and so many people want him to make decisions in their best interest, and he don't really want to do any of that, which is why he did nothing. But
Mm-hmm.
like now he can't maybe anymore. So
He said bandits, man. Curry said that in a blog that she would give us a worthy ending. The ending will be bittersweet. I think the ending's gonna be pain.
well, I do have a theory. I do have a theory about the ending. I guess that's
go
the only theory I have.
go ahead. But 1 second. On his eye color different too. Like cigar bug him all the time. Tired of greed for power. Yeah, he used to be. They used to be yellow. He has purple gold eyes. Sir eyes seem yellow. Anata, kind of a coward. I think you could describe. I think that's not an unfair way to describe him. Obviously, I think if we actually get to flesh out and understand his inner workings and his inner thinking and how and like see it from his point of view, we might get a different understanding. But from what we know right now, I actually don't think coward is necessarily the wrong way to describe him in a lot of ways. I can see why someone would say that. What's your end game theory though?
I think I've stated it before, not on stream, but I'm pretty sure my in-game theory is that Lee's and Asha kind of like have like a little thing where like they end up kind of saving the world together, but then they both disappear from everybody's minds and thoughts, and nobody knows how the world was actually fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, where it's just like they have to sacrifice themselves to get the proper ending.
To
Both
get
of them.
the okay, I feel that. So I don't think he's a coward. He just seems so passive since that's the only way he found. Maybe some other timelines he could become active, but all went to shat. He's chained by his own power in a way. Again, I'm not calling him a coward. I'm just saying I could understand why somebody would say that because generally speaking, right? Not I don't I'd rather use this example because I think it's the example that most people could understand. But you know what Uncle Ben said to Spider Man? With great power comes great responsibility, right? So generally speaking, when somebody has the authority, power, know how to actually stop something quote unquote bad from happening, and they're a bystander, they don't do it. It's almost like you're too cowardly to act, especially if you have the ability to stop or do something. For some people who think that he's generally being a bystander, being indifferent, not fully engaging in what's going on, but he's so goddamn powerful. I could see why they will look at that someone like that as a coward. It's not a crazy thing. It's not a crazy opinion to have. It's basically my point. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I don't think you would be wrong to think that. But I do think we'll get more insight. You know what I'm saying? Insight, got the insight when we go and explore him thoroughly. So yeah. He's chained by his own power. He wants to save his friends, but it's probably leads to catastrophe. I can see why people think that for sure. Well, we'll see. So what? She stopped, and see, this is the part that threw me for a loop. Somebody here, just help me if I'm wrong on this. This where they are currently in time right now, whatever timeline they're in, right? Is this further than where they were before, or is this closer to the present? I
It's
haven't
closer
actually
to the
I actually haven't been able to fully discern that. I think I want to say closer to the present just
yeah. I want to say that, right?
because I guess we saw baby like or smaller Rana, but did Raltara, Maruna, and everyone get sent to the same time period type place? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They're in D0. See, that actually doesn't help me. N95 N5 card that's not helping me. I need this chapter. The chapter you have open is in D0, so it's about 500 years ago. Is that it? This is pretty. Is that's pretty close then? Okay.
Yeah, it had to be because we went from humans having no magic and just kind of being just naturally strong to now they have to rely on magic and all this
Mm.
other stuff.
Asha and Lee definitely have a confrontation sooner or later. Nah, 1,000. If Ranarao Tower is 1,000 years after Maruna, so they're not all in the same place. Like I said, that was one thing I need to clarify. They're not all in the same quote
Yeah,
place
yeah,
slash
okay, yeah.
timeline. Okay, so this is a so my kind of thoughts are similar, but then now I get a different level of confusion. Why didn't Ananda immediately recognize Maruna? She's like, why can he move without my permission? He's confused. And so is Maruna. He's like, wait, nigga, I just saw you. And we've kind of met more than once in a sense, right? So I think that's what I was like, is this the older Anata before that moment? And I just didn't realize, but like I wasn't sure. But then that wouldn't have made sense because I don't think Maruna got displaced again since him arriving with the Garudas and seeing his younger self. I don't remember him getting displaced in time again. I'm gonna reread this arc when it's all said and done and over. But I just found that interesting. Hold on, can we talk about the newest chapter? Yes, 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 yes. You can, you can. We're fast pass territory. So the last three chapters are all fair game. So anyone who's not spoiled, um, you guys, I guess if bow out. My bad. This is fast pass quote unquote territory. But yeah. So he explains that he almost died. He saved his life. Do you just think it might have been those things like maybe it was long enough, or he's just so busy with all these type of things he didn't register him immediately, or do you think there's another reason why he didn't necessarily remember Maruna? 'Cause remember,
Maybe it has
he's the one
something
who
to
has
do.
he has or had Aruna soul when he died when he tried to get the snowflake apple. Snowflake apple? Is that what it's called?
Maybe it has something to do with some type of distortion of his own abilities and in his like mind and soul and stuff like that. Maybe he just not gonna be as present as he was previously.
Oh, this
I,
that's so clean. Nah, I'll go chat saying. I didn't think about that. I should have thought about that.
what happened? What did they
I
say?
think
I'm not
Anata
looking.
from a different timeline possessed the Anata of that time. Remember how Lee's got sent back in time by Callie to possess her own self, but the current present time Lee's in that moment didn't have control of her own body and Berthal and what she was doing? This
Oh,
could be
okay.
a
See,
similar situation. And you know that he's loved by time and things like that too. So it probably could get even crazier knowing he's the most powerful in the universe and it's kind of like loved by time or whatever. So
I was kind of thinking of that what Vishnu did rather than what Lee's did with Callie. I was thinking of when remember when Vishnu sent like a version of himself to talk to Asha?
mhm,
I was thinking it was more like that. Like when because remember he had like that ghosty type form that scared the crap out of Maruna.
yeah.
I was thinking it was something like that. He sent some version of himself because he might be like the originator of doing that. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if they all. Well, they're primivials, so like they might have that ability. I thought he might have been like the first person.
Okay. Sorry, let me just see chat. The Anata that helped baby Maruna was Anata from the future, I think, since Anata didn't remember because 11 Planet Massacre. Anata of this time probably had a blackout yeah, okay, while other possibility held Maruna, like Lee's have. That's what I said. The eyes are important. I think they tell what type of Anata it is. I'm gonna keep a close look at the eyes from now on to see if I can discern anything from there. The Anata Maruna met was engulfed in sins. Was also weird with the missing Sura trait at the arms. Yeah, because you had to think. Yeah, okay. See, like there's a lot of little things like that. I'm surprised I wasn't able to put to come up with that possibility in my head though. So that's not me being a dumbass, but no, well said, well said. Because even because now this line makes a little bit of sense to me. Like what request, blah blah blah, and he said I can't remember what he said. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Where's the line? Ah, I said something like that. I see. And you have the role of letting me know about this. That must be why you've been allowed to move. As far as he was concerned, when he did his little time stop thing, no one had permission to move. But because of the information that he had that I guess this version of Anata needed to know, Maruna was allowed the permission to move through frozen time. So, okay. Um anything else in the chapter I want to speak about in particular? Oh well, this is the part where we get a little bit of insight into some of the stuff that he's doing and trying, which is interesting, right? So he's like, he's failed. despaired more. In the end, seemingly chose up and rather try again. Like, what are you talking about? I'm saying that the time I spent too much wasting, living wastefully, no matter how real it was to me. Once it disappears, a possibility becomes a mere recollection no one else shares. A single branch of delusion no one can understand. Trying to make things better and trying again and again. My efforts turning things back countless times were all pointless. No matter how I go about it, the situation does not improve, and my sin only deepens in every one of those universes. And so, is the me engulfed in sins more dangerous, or are the sins that will help erupt after my death more dangerous? This is the part that I really like. What do you think? You asked me. Then he's like, "Answer me, Kubera." I'm like, "Hey, yo, what's he doing down there?" I said, "Where'd you come? What? Why is he down there now? He's just there looking up."
Bro, I
The
was crying. He really was just chilling. Like, what's going on, bro?
the
What are you
part
doing?
where he was really in the window pan with his Ichibi with his fucking legs swinging in the air, I'm like, bro, don't you sit there looking at me like that, bro. I I don't know if I said this enough. The God of Earth Kubera is growing on me. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what the reason is, but I like him more and more. I don't. Go
I've
ahead.
always liked him, so
I never
it's
disliked him. I think my problem was I thought maybe I didn't trust him, and
yeah, that
I
makes
didn't know
sense
how to
though.
read him, and I don't know if
He's
I
not
trust him.
trustworthy. He's not
Yeah,
trustworthy at all, even now.
I would say I don't know if I trust him, but he be entertaining the f out of me though. Cause like why? I think Miles said it in the comment section once. He's like, why he be pulling up, chibied up? Why? What's the reason? Why you be doing that? Like you just fucking with y'all. You just doing shit to do shit. But yeah, I do think this is a very I don't know how to take this. I think this could be a moment where I'm overthinking, but before I talk about it, remind me to bring up Kubera in a second, the God of Earth. What did you think about Anata's kind of I don't want to say he's despairing, but he's talking about no matter what he does, he can't fucking do anything and his sins just keep growing. Do you think that was like an insight to the frustration he feels despite being the most powerful being in the universe?
Yeah, because I think to me the problem is that his because of his power, his decisions mean too much.
Mm-hmm.
If he picks a side, everything changes. If he decides to help humans, all the Soras and the gods are going to team up against him. If he
Mm-hmm.
decides to help the Gnostikas, then he's obviously against the gods. If he helps the gods, he's against everybody else. Like anything he do is going to be met with retaliation or just like, oh, so you're picking them? You can't win, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does,
It's a
and he
you
can't
think
even
it's a
probably
lose
do a
lose?
small thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everything he does, I think it's a lose lose.
Mm. Okay. Because this was probably like the I would say the most amount of little like a peel back of what he's really thinking on the inside. But yeah, but anyways,
See, and my thing is, we still don't know how his powers work either.
no,
Like, does him using his time powers, even though he has it, does that like take a piece of his soul? Does that like hurt him in some ways? Like, we still don't even know how it works. Like,
no,
especially when you have that type of power, it usually comes with a cost of some kind.
I think so. Maybe it's just it's his role and stuff. So okay, so in the Raws, you guys might have the answer. Just for future reference, I'm not really a fan of even like I don't know why I'm so touchy about spoilers. I'm like one of the most sensitive people about spoilers, but I don't even like hints. So just for future reference, just for my sake, please don't even hit because now I'm gonna be thinking about it. Like what chapter in the next 20 chapters do we learn about it? Like, that's kind of how my brain works. I know for some
See,
people
yeah, this is
when
the
you hint
series I
or you
don't
tell
want
them a
to.
spoiler, they get more hyped to get to that moment. I do not. I work the complete opposite. You will kill all my intrigue. So
For most series, I don't really care, but this is one of those series where
I care too
I don't
much.
want to. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah. I
Kubera too
don't.
much. Yeah, yeah. I would argue like if you like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Super, like I don't care, but we can talk about Super. I don't, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, is there anything to think about it? The erupting sins are far more dangerous, no matter how corrupted this universe might be. As long as you repress those sins, it can somehow prevail. But without you, the universe won't last even 1,000 years and will collapse. Nothing but you can bear those sins. You are the lifespan of this universe. Do not think otherwise. Just before I give my thoughts, chat and you, Vince, what do you think when you like reading that little interaction there? So he speaks about you are basically saying this is your role. Don't think about anything otherwise. How do you? What are your thoughts there? Because I think this is a significant line here,
I
especially with
think
the way
that's
that Anata's looking at him and the way Kubera is looking. I think are all telling us a small story here. But keep going. Go ahead.
I think that's a very difficult thing. Like I kind of like personally, I don't like stuff like that. I don't like people telling me like don't think about anything else
Bonjour, mon cœur.
beyond
Mm-hmm.
just doing this job. But you could argue that in some ways that might actually be the best thing to do because in this world, too many people try to do other stuff and then it messes up
Mm-hmm.
everything else because I don't know. It feels like every decision that people make in this story is always ruining the best future anyway. I'm like, y'all always saying like we doing this for the best future, but man, the decisions y'all be making, it don't ever feel like we feels like we just getting further and further away all the time. Like, how is this? You see Brahma, you see Brahma. She already gave up.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, bro, look, this universe cooked, man. I don't know what to tell you, but be some string of events at some point that's gonna lead us back to the strong future. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm starting to feel like her. I don't see how we gonna get there with y'all doing what y'all doing because y'all all seem to have your own agendas and
Yeah.
don't care.
Okay. Because there's a specific takeaway that I had that I like, but I'll say this and I'll say this too. Let's see real quick. I think Anata was basically suicide using God Kubera. I'm like Vanna when it comes to like Kako. Yeah, I'm like Kako. Um, Kubera was talking to him like he was his superior. I can see why you would say that. I didn't get that vibe. It felt like it felt like it was respect of some sort. That's an interesting way. That's an interesting perspective.
See,
I
but
do
my
think
thing,
there's a level of
that's
reverence for
interesting.
having a role that important that Kubera could have. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. You good, you good. You were saying something more important than I'm gonna say. I'm just saying, I feel like he talks to everybody like that. I don't know. I didn't feel no different. He kind of talks to everybody with like this level of like kind of contempt and apathy, if that's what you want to call it. That's just
Okay.
how he talks.
Okay.
Look at his face. He always looks like that.
Okay. So you think it's respect? Kubera and Nata were both trying to read each other, in my opinion. That I could see. That
Yeah,
makes
that makes
sense. That
sense.
makes sense to me.
That makes sense.
Maybe he was cold to hear. Maybe because I used to read online webtoons. Oh yeah, line webtoons is they got really bad at some point of season 3 to the point where they were messing up very obvious gender stuff too. So here's how I interpreted it. Though I do think there's multiple ways to read this line, right? So he asks him a question that Kubera answers pretty much off rip. Like, bro, obviously the erupting things are far more dangerous, right? Doesn't matter how corrupt the universe is, if you can actually do your fucking job, repress the sins, it will somehow thrive on and keep going. And without that, it wouldn't even last 1,000 years. And you're the only being powerful enough to bear those sins. You are the lifespan of this universe. Do not think otherwise. It's almost to me Kubera is somewhat telling him, "You have a goddamn role to do here. Do it and stop with the nonsense." That's actually how I took it. I actually do agree with that. You could see it as a sign of respect, as reverence for having a role this important as keeping the universe going by being its lifespan by repressing its sins. I think you could look at it that way too. But I found it interesting because like Anata's looking at him like, so this is all I am. This is it. You know what I'm saying?
You
That's
know what? When you put it, yeah,
that's
when you put it like
that's
that, that makes
that's
sense.
how I
Yeah.
took it. Like another like his look is just like I asked this question to see like he's like, bro, do your fucking job. It's like that's it. I'm just here to do that. None of my hopes, wants, and dreams and ideologies and things that I care about matter. All that matters is that I fulfill my role. That's kind of how I took it. That's why I
You,
think the way that he's looking is significant too, because it's kind of a blank
you know, you know,
expression, you know?
you know what? I think what you said kind of how I think that's probably the best way I took it. Because I think also, dude, Kabira's just telling him though, it's just like you're trying to like avoid or run away from your responsibility.
Mm,
Like you're not, you know, like I know you didn't ask for this, but you know, he's a straight shooter, so he's not gonna baby you, telling you what he got to say. But like he's just like, bro, like this is you, this is your role, and you not doing it and you trying to get out of it is hurting this universe. Like, and yeah, because Kubera, you know, because you remember earlier, not I don't know if it's this arc or the arc before. But remember Kubera was basically talking about like how he has to make them care about
mm,
this stuff. Oh yeah, he said that to. I think he said that to Maroon or whatever. He's like, you got to make them care, and that's kind of like with all these people, because like even the Nazcas and the gods, they just don't seem to want to do the responsibilities given to them a lot of the time. They don't
Yeah.
want to do it, but you need that. He has to do it. But yeah, it seems like he. But I'm more curious, I guess, about why he doesn't want to do that, other than obviously the obvious, like everybody's relying on him to do that. But is it just too much?
It was the agony.
I wonder.
But it's just one of those things. Like if you ever been somewhat forced into a leadership position, I think part of the reason that I think I understood Anata's look here, and just before actually, let me just say this before I forget it. So he says, look, but even look at his answer. He's like, sure, if you say so, and he walks away. You see what I'm saying? And then he
Mm,
says, that guy's lying. You know that, right? Even if you are deceived by the process, do not be deceived to the very end unless you seek to end your own future on that very day, and leaves. And then time starts to kind of flow back to normal, which is very interesting. Now, let me go back up just a little bit because, damn it, what did you just say to me? I lost it. That's crazy. I had something. Oh, no, I was relating it to myself. If you've ever been thrust into a leadership position where you're just expected to carry out your role and it's not something you particularly ask for, you always have a little bit of contempt for the people around you, especially if it's all they ever see you as. Anytime I was forced to be team captain on any of my soccer teams, basketball teams, track teams, whatever the case was, there was always an elevated level of responsibility that was forced onto me that I didn't particularly want. You know how I've always told you that I'm a reluctant leader? It's not that I can't do it. It's not that I'm a bad leader. I'm typically reluctant because I'm a lone wolf naturally. I just want to do my own shit. I That's why I think I kind of understand Anata's like plight here a little bit. That's why I think when I looked at him like he just looked at them like that's all I am. I'm just team captain, Drop 30
yeah,
points, do your
yeah, yeah.
fucking job, blah
But
blah.
he's alone too.
Yeah.
Like nobody can relate to him. Nobody
No.
can empathize with him. Nothing. Like nobody
He's
understands what
even
he's going through.
stronger than the people who created it. So
Yeah, and everybody, and he's the only person where everybody says you alone are necessary for the best possible future. Nobody else gets told that. Like, no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, whatever you want to do, you have to bear it because we need you to be here for the best possible future.
yeah,
And for him, at his point, at some point, he's probably like, what does that have to do with me? What do I care about this best possible future for all of you if that don't got nothing to do with me, or if I can't do what I want?
feel it. So then time flows again. All of a sudden, the Nan is beside Kubera. This is doubly funny. Because he's like, could you imagine that you just look like what now? Why are you here now? Like, what's going on? Like
Bro,
Kubera and
both
him,
his
yeah,
people are both scary, bro. He
yeah.
can't win. Super scary. Why did he
That
make a contract with either one of them?
that's what I'm saying. Daksha's over there on his knees. Maruna's like, hey yo, shut up, man. We stealth mode. An orc. So now I am personally getting a little bit of a kick out of this because this to me is coming across as very it's almost like Kubera's version of detective work. Like Kubera is on the case. like I've been enjoying the f out of this because he's using this insider stuff to figure out something that's going on because we're going to transition to some point the planetary gods and what they had said and whatnot and like Indra's influence X, Y, and Z. But I'm really getting a kick out of this. But let me just see what the chat say real quick. I think I used the wrong word. I mean, if respect's not what you meant, I think reverence is not a bad word. Um, a, a great deal of acknowledgement for his role or for what he needs to do. And it's not to be a necessarily a respect thing, but I think I understood what you were trying to say, though. I personally, Gan Howard doesn't get told that though, except he's too dumb to care. El Merchant. But I mean, it's Kubera holds and that's a position his portrait. Like he sees it as a very important role, and that needs to be properly fulfilled. So, so he said, I heard you were receiving oracles from another god before I came here. It was rumored that the will of the god of the night, blah, blah, blah. Tell me who that god is. Is the weapon of this, if the owner of this weapon Indra? He said, that's, if you won't reveal it, then the sin of murder falls solely upon you. Trying to reduce your sins by spreading rumors about a god is blasphemy. And I love this panel. If they were his orders, Indra will be called here to verify right now. Like this panel is so clean. It's so like I love the eyes, and you know one eye's kind of closed, but still the little purple there. What's it? What are the comments here? Kurigam's comic, the pink-haired version of the magician who used Sanyoga Managa in the opening match. Translator note has contrast with Manaka, Shuri, Vasky, Tatsaka, Vatsuki spells are useless though, so it can only be three. Her comments be funny though. It'd be funny. The king going to oh shit yeah it's a wrap for me. Hold it down for 1 second, Rich. I'm just gonna use the washroom. I gotta tinkle.
Okay. Well, we here. Let me pull up this so I can answer what I'm supposed to be talking about here with you, party people. Not gonna lie to y'all. I need more Asha, and I need more Yashka if we could go back to him. That's my goat Gnostica. The real stream finally started. Oh man, Idra's a clown, but I love his design. He's a clown though. Yama, best god by far. Goaded. What else? Hmm. Yeah, I need that. I need to go back to Yashka. See, why you got to do me like that? He's the goat. That's the person. Be part of that.
Okay, I'm like
It's a part of nature now. Okay, I was talking about my love for Yashka, my love for Yama, and then the chat they give me a hard time. They say Yashka's part of nature now. He in the wind.
what?
Yeah, they do me like that,
Oh damn, bro! Don't do action like that. you see
bro.
him?
Like
You ain't see him yeet a sword onto another planet. You nice.
bro, he ain't done nothing wrong, man. He was just chilling out there.
Hmm.
And see, they took all the good Nazcas. Him and Arivata, they just were like, nah, y'all are too nice. Get out.
Hmm.
Crying.
Now, this is a little not unrelated, but I do like what Kubera says here. Most humans are capable of looking at an issue from the opposing perspective, and they look back onto their momentary anger and regret. Not many like I don't even know if I agree with that.
I
It's that
think
we're
he's just saying more. We
in
have
the
the capable.
most literal sense, we are capable. But do we do that often? I don't think so.
Not yeah, definitely not enough. But what he's saying is that he's saying that like the best of humanity has the capabilities to do things like that. They
Yeah.
don't. Like gods and that's because they don't be thinking about stuff like that because the whole process of like empathy and stuff like that, why does it matter to them? It doesn't matter.
Hmm. Because like obviously, literally speaking, but I'm like humans don't do that. Humans look at something from one side, they stay in their echo chamber, and then they fucking yell. That's what they do.
You went real nihilistic on them. But if you think about the positive parts of humanity, yes, that's supposed to be the aspect that makes us human.
I
That
know
we have the ability to empathize and
when
sympathize
Brahma
with one
destroyed
another.
ancient humanity and made us, our race was cooked, bro. Gotta go
Yo,
back. We need to go back.
I'm crying. I'm crying, bro. Brahma really made humans with that capability, and she was like too soft for a sportsman.
Your
She
name is
got
Kenshin. Yo. Okay, hold on.
she
Cover at
big
the
man,
high
big
beings,
man.
yes. Can be neutral if you catch a stray. Surya, the second best god to the goodness. Uh, it's just saying most humans doubt their judgments. No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I may end up getting spoiled. I may not know what's going on, but I pulled up on phone and what's up? Nah, how you doing, brother? Humans have the capability, but they don't. Yeah, and again, taking it literally, yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, so speaking lies is also said I'm not lying. Blah blah. The reason I'm going as far to ask you is because someone equal or higher to me is behind all this. If you were simply bad from talking, you shouldn't have been able to say anything, but you actually denied it, which means you were instructed to lie. Or and then this is when the girl pops in. And then she's like, I know the true mastermind. The end of this chapter threw me for a loop. Now, maybe I'm a stupid ass nigga. We'll get to that when we get to there. But I want to know what you thought when you see it. Well, give me a second. So she comes. So she comes. I think this is when they go to the place where the planetary gods were, or whatever, right? Is that where Kroha saw venerable time, if I remember correctly?
イエーイ
Thank
お
you.
兄ちゃんピースピース
Okay, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. And by the way, some of these people like their banter in the background. It just gives me life. It's a very small detail, but
Yeah, that's not something that was happening earlier. But with these humans, yeah, I find it very. They're just like, I would have forgiven him.
yeah. Like
They
I
were
just
talking. They were
insolence.
talking
How dare
crazy.
you say such things to the king? Like it just like I just it's just nice because the reason why I like things like that is I don't like stories where I feel like things only happen or only said when the main characters are here or doing something. I think at least obviously there's important characters here and they're commenting on what they're doing, but your world feels more alive when all the characters are doing their own thing, talking amongst each other, and have their own levels of agency. I think a big part of world building that gets lost in storytelling is the people matter.
Yep,
if
exactly.
if things only happen when I come to town and take side quests and stuff, it's like I'm playing like a JRPG from back in the day where shit only happens when you, the MC, gets to town. I hate stories like that. That's why I think background banter like this is very important, even if it's just sparingly done here and there, because it just gives the rabble, if you will, some agency and importance in the world. That's all.
Right. It's no, it's very important for world. But I talk about that's one thing I like too because it makes everything feel like it matter. And like them, this is particularly
Hmm.
good because they're not in agreement with what our you know the people we're currently following are thinking
Hmm.
for obvious reasons. So it's just like yeah, like you have to realize that like everybody in the world doesn't just agree with the main characters and the people that we're looking at. They have their own thoughts and versions, or they are maybe they're followers, maybe they're sheep, but they're not sheep of the main character. Just
Hmm.
because so even though we think main character on the good side, is not the rest of the world sees them or whatever stuff like that. So
Okay, I feel that.
I
Bruh, I
think
gotta
that's what it's
change
about.
that. Change what? Change my subscription from Kiss Shot Ace Rola Lion Hoto under Buredo? You never. I'm never
Bro,
changing it. Kiss Shot will stay there till the end of time. I don't know. I could see myself. Actually, no. I would change the donation with the kai. Ooh, I should have Kaiki there because Kaiki likes money. Anyways, let me not get distracted with Monogatari right now. So she said there's no such god, or we don't know the god's name if it's not Indra, because I think he believes it's Indra. And after he said there's a temple about half a days from here, and like the face that he makes here is interesting. The Temple of Time, shout out to Legend of Zelda. It's not a Vishnu Nim temple and stuff. He's like, forget everything you heard here and seen here. If you speak the truth outside of here, you will gain bad karma, which is funny. I'm like, is that true? Do you say that to scare them, or can he inflict that himself? Like, hey, I told you to forget what you saw and heard here. If we talk about it, you gonna get that karma, bitch. So let me go to the part where they go to the place. There's Maruna following behind. You get a little bit of conversation with some people, and you see the king here. Kubera and them took him and left. How could a mere human express disapproval of that? I would. I don't know. I probably die quick in this world. I'm too disrespectful. I think I'd commit too much blasphemy. They'd be like, "This is agony,"
Honestly,
and I'd be like, "I don't give a fuck, nigga." I just
I,
keep walking.
honestly, I think it depends which timeline I'm born into.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like the modern one, I might be okay for a while. Like not permanently. Yeah, I think I'm getting out the pain no matter what. But I'd probably be okay for a while.
Yeah.
Like this old one, this fiendish one with this, yeah, nah, no chance, bro. Because I'm using my powers, bro. And they definitely gonna be like, oh, he's using fiendish magic. I'm like, listen, man,
Hmm.
I had to protect myself at all costs.
This is
That's just what I
this
had.
this is my favorite part of the chapter, by the way.
Okay, let
Idiots.
me see. Let me look.
If the gods were so fair and just, why would the world be screwed up like this?
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
literal energy I'll be moving with.
Yep.
And you're
And
like,
them still thinking like blasphemy is a thing,
oh my god, the
and they're like, nah.
karma. And then Art Ram. I didn't pick up on this the first time I was reading it. And I do believe maybe his name was mentioned a little bit before, but the whole thing related to what can't I remember Yuta's brother's name, Lutz and stuff. I didn't really realize that it was named after this individual. Like the chat was like, I'm like, damn it, y'all on my head. I didn't realize. That's on me. That's on me. Oh, she. I'm sorry, she. That's on me. But that was just a really cool little thing
Nah,
there.
I don't blame you because you just trying to absorb what's on the current thing. Sometimes you don't have time to like think about
Hmm.
in relation of what it meant to something in the past right then and there. That's why we have
Hmm.
to look at this stuff again.
Yeah, yeah. My bad. Our Ram, the woman.
Yeah,
What
she's
did you
cool.
think about the conversation here a little bit, just based off the fact that it's like they say stuff to control humans, or heard of the underworld, they're busy enough by sins, the blasphemy doesn't exist. She's like, no, no, don't say that, blah blah. But the part where I think this is the part, I think I'm correct. Make sure this is the right part. It's the overkill part. Okay, yes, this is the overkill part. Okay, so and Nancy to that woman, his attention to was his intention to participate in the tournament in the first place and approach the king like an assassination. And she said he didn't seem like that type of person. And this is I like when the characters have this level of insight or like intuition here, because I didn't notice this, but I think this is completely fair to think. What do you mean saying he didn't see that type of person? How about a guy who climbed to the top by killing all his opponents? You have to see it in a different light than the competition where they can be revived right away. Then he goes, even so, a personality unsuitable for killing people, that's what people like you are called, not Anan. He seemed to have no problems about destroying his opponents with excessive force, even though they're gonna be resurrected. He's like, like you're stronger. You're stronger than that. There was no need for you. Like you could have proved your superiority by knocking them out or whatever. So there was no need to kill him. So with that, you could basically say there was obviously an underlying level of like issues within him or rage or some psychological whatever the case may be. I thought that was like I didn't think about that, but when I was reading that, I was just like, bro, I didn't even think about that. I don't disagree. I'm not saying he could be wrong, but I don't disagree with that assessment. Of she with her assessment. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I
We know
completely
obviously
did.
because of the king, but like, what did you think about that whole part though?
Oh no, no, I completely agree. But the other part, it was kind of thing was just kind of like thinking that like he didn't seem like that type of person because I do think there is something to the standpoint that like if he wanted to get rid of the king, why even go through the process of going through the duels and stuff like that?
Hmm.
Why don't just try to catch him, blacken in some other way and stuff like this? I can kind of see where the character's coming from. It's just like why are you even like? Because in some way it's kind of like a showcase of like power and force of him going through the duels and just beating people and destroying them, even though he knows they can be revived. Maybe it's like therapeutic in some weird way, or maybe it's just like, you know, to release some of that rage early because a lot of these people in this kingdom too, you know, they obviously are go with they're on the side of the king and stuff like that. Maybe he just retaliating against them too. So I don't know. But yeah, I really like this conversation. Yeah, for sure. Definitely
Yeah,
one of my favorite things the past couple chapters that's happened.
he was talking. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the last panel. I thought it was Raul, bro. Like, how many characters in Kubera have green hair? Like, real
Yeah,
talk.
come on, like yeah, like come on, man.
No,
Not
real
that many.
talk.
The
Cause
two girls
there's
and him.
Riche and Roosh. I think they're kind of
Yeah,
tealish, bluish, greenish, and then Rao and Lee's. Who else?
yeah, that's it. That's it. As far as I remember, there are probably more, but
That's what I'm saying.
that's like
I'm
that
I'm
color. That's like that color too. No,
that's important.
I mean,
Cause I won't lie to you. I saw this, I thought it was Rao.
yeah, immediately.
I'm sure, but I didn't believe in what I was saying. Does that make sense? Like I saw it and went round, but like no, I don't believe that. But I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like this is one of those chapters where I got to the end and
I mean,
I malfunctioned.
see, man. We always knew there was more to route than more meets that, but we're starting to say like. But my thing is like right now, as far if it's somebody else, there's no way we would know right
Let's
now
say blue
because
curly hair. But yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm
sorry.
saying. Like it's like he has a certain color of his hair and stuff like that. Nobody else got hair like that, man.
Yeah. Also, Curry said the king was smiling when God Kubera left at the end here. The
Oh
same.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
yeah,
tell.
but
I could tell.
I noticed that. I noticed that. Like he's obviously on some next ish, right? So, anyways, he basically said, "How will you not notice? Kanar named hid me. Kanar did. Yes, the king of the Kanar clan. She is the one who signed a contract with me, giving me the Sun Yoga Kanara spell. I can't know whether Indranim intervened after all collecting all the Varjas, but without a doubt, the being who was in this temple, the one who used the planetary gods to interview before that. Can you describe his personal appearance? And this is interesting here. So let's go to the. I think is this the last one? Let me just no, I don't think so. No, there's one more after this. Yes. No. Okay. So is this the same being that Kroha interacted with when Rana was in danger? Do you believe? The
He's the
dragon
one that
halfling,
who?
the dragon
Oh,
halfling at the beginning. Remember when he's like, "Oh, venerable time when Rana was put here because
yeah,
being a part of the royal family,
yeah.
related back to Anan and everything." Like, I think that portion is probably trying to come full circle here.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a crazy question. See, this is what I be talking about. I wasn't even thinking about nothing like that. That's a crazy question, bro.
They say he had time war like his daughter. Oh shoot, that'd be crazy. But okay, so this is the part where like I feel like Kubera was shoot. Kubera has a line here that I think is a crazy bar. My patrons have seen it, seen how I reacted to it. Let me find it. He basically says, "You capping." He comes up to her, kind of closes her neck, at her neck, right? Flimsy lies won't work, so answer truthfully, right? No, where's the fucking bar? What the fuck am I looking for? There we go. 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 It's earlier. It's earlier. So she's basically capping or whatever, or not telling the full truth, or many things, or embellishing a little bit, or adding certain details. He said, "How can we be so sure that he's the one behind their actions?" Like I said before, I hid nearby and listened in. Simply listening to an unpermitted truth does not enable you to relay it. Mic drop.
I'm not gonna.
Fucking
Yeah, 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 yeah.
bars, nigga. You know nothing about that. It's fucking bars.
No, that really
He
was a
was
crazy question.
spitting. He was spitting. I said, wait, I'm gonna start using that. What's up, Mickey? What's up? Yo, I messed up. I tried to put I tried to put the emote up and I messed up. I'm gonna do it later. But it's ready. It's ready. I don't know. I can't I swear I the size was correct and it was giving me issues. But anyways, I'll fix it. But did my ears? My bad. I was yelling. That's my fault. My fault. That was great because he said it's the same as you cannot describe something that you have not seen. And then he goes up to her to tell the truth, and then she stops her capping, right? And then after he's like, I couldn't hear it. Then the Nasika Hooters into the Kanara hear it instead of you and tell you. Then he's like, boom, got my new target. He's afraid. Now, this is the part that I think is a little bit interesting here. I don't think I have to go through the whole thing here. I don't remember any particular dialogue that I have to like kind of go by, but Kubera is basically saying why like the reason that you're scared is because you're afraid of like not surviving or sins for you. Is there any reason to fear the Nasa because of the retaliation? But we figure out later on from Anand's interaction with her apparently she's more afraid of getting Kanara in trouble, which means that you think he misread that? Did he say that? Did he say that with a purpose, with an underlying purpose? Like, what was a? I don't understand how he could be wrong about something like that because he could use insight on her. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay, okay, okay. I see where you're
Because
going with that.
later on,
Going.
earlier on he said that she lived a life full of regrets and oppression or whatever the case was, which means he did like an insight into her mind or life to some degree already. So how
Well,
could he
you
have
know,
got that wrong possibly? Because he's the type that I feel would say some bullshit to you to make you think about something.
well, yeah. See, I guess the problem is he's the type because, but didn't they say that like insight isn't perfect, and it might be different for older humans than it would for
Hmm,
new humans.
that is true.
So he might have not gotten 100% of her total intent. Maybe he only got half of it.
Yeah.
He didn't get the full thing.
That's so funny that you said that God could bears like Batman, and I'm good, no complaints. Streaming the Kubera greatness. Definitely like went up to her and said, "Where's the trigger?" on some Batman type beat, but insight doesn't work if another entity of the same level is involved. It's kind of vague. That is true. He did say that like to the king. It's like my insight's not working because somebody stronger or as strong as me is interfering or I can't see fully. But I don't. Okay, so wait a minute. Does that mean okay? Now I'm trying to think deeper. Does that mean that insight the way insight work can fluctuate depending on what you're trying to figure out. So you could
Yeah,
use insight on her and just understand her life or whatever, but now you're trying to use insight to understand her relationship to Kanara. It's a little foggier.
yeah, I think
Could it
so.
be like that?
Because I kind of understood insight from like how Chandra was using it. Like every time Chandra, like, because he used it the most, I feel like
Hmm.
so far. And every time he did it, it felt like he was getting very like mixed results depending on what he was trying to like ask or what type of thing. Because like depending on who he asking, like Nazcas are kind of on the same level as God. So yeah, like maybe he
Okay,
can't
okay, okay, okay,
understand
okay,
his
okay.
relation to her.
Like, yeah, there could be some way you could exploit it. Okay, okay, we do know it's not perfect. Okay, that's well said. That's well said. But he went to go explore more. He tries to offer the bracelet back, even if I have something like this. It's using it's an Asuka, and he's like, the item can be retrieved at a later time. Brushes him off, and he's gone. He's like, all right, I'll be by your side no matter what. What should I do? What if Kanara name is harmed? And then that's when he realized that she's probably not. She's more like your fear of retaliation more so than like you getting in trouble. And she talks about how she
Well,
was alone. Go ahead.
no, I'm saying too, like I said, we don't 100% know how insight works, but maybe it could be something like trying to like read a color or read a feel. I'm calling it a color, but like read a feeling, and he misinterpreted the feeling because maybe he just reads it as just like regret, but then he has to like come to his own conclusion what the regret
No, I
is
hear what you're
about.
saying. That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to think of an example that I've seen that where somebody misinterpreted something because of something like that. It wasn't that they didn't understand the future events. They just didn't. No, that makes sense to me. There
yeah.
would be some way to exploit it. Lee said something like, if he had seen what was truly important, he would have given her a choice. Kubera is always in control of Ish. That girl is a mega Kinar. Yeah, she Kinar fan. Actually, Kubera, according to him, always messes up. Yeah, true. Kind of like Kanata. Insight works like hearing, I think. I wish I could think of an example, but maybe an example I could reference will come to me later. But okay, let's keep it pushing here. So she said, "Oh, I was alone, blah blah." She helped me out. If she really hard, I'll be able to forgive myself. And then he's like, "Should we go together? You can find her before the god does, and if you use Sen Yoga magic to notify her, and then it's time. We in hell, baby. It's Yama time, baby. It's fuck Indra season, nigga."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I like Indra. Well, I told you, Miyama is right now opposed. He said we not on the same alignment. It's not. We're not on Team Indra, so it's Team Yama. We in hell, baby. We raising hell, baby. All right, so I love this because I've always wanted. First of all, just seeing them in hell, them on the cliff, seeing all those souls in the little lava thing down there, all of that, I love seeing it. The what are they called? What are they called again? The pretas, souls that have fallen to hell that are given a body solely with excellent regenerative power, so they can feel the pain of punishment, bruh.
See, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's always kind of what my imagination of hell would be like. So
Yeah.
that lines up.
Yeah, like that's just very good, and I think the way that the souls here are kind of melted and like, grasping for land and not to be in the lava or magma, like you could tell that these souls are being tortured to some degree, which is crazy. Like I think like the way that the Peritas look are like really interesting. I like this panel. Basically, what I'm saying, it looks really good. It means ghost. Okay, thank you. In what language?
Yeah, you got to tell me
I don't
too.
know what language that is. But this was really cool to actually see them suffer. Yeah, that too. Insight's very abstract. That wasn't that interesting before, but he's getting better and better. I disagree, and
Yeah, I
agree
disagree.
and agree at the same time. I think Yama did enough that if you were kind of paying attention, you knew there was something there that you hoped could get explored someday. I definitely agree. Him actually taking like a foreground role and actually taking agency, not being reactive but being proactive and going out his way to do something, has elevated his current level of intrigue. I agree with that. But I think he was always interesting personally. That's just me though. I would argue he's interesting even solely based off just what his godly jurisdiction and job is for souls, the dead, and things of that nature. I think just off of that alone, he's important. I don't know if you.
See, I got really interested in him when it felt to me that Brahma was trying to get him summoned. Like she was really trying to get Lila or Claude. No, was it Claude or whatever? Yeah, she's trying to get Claude. It felt like to bring him to Earth for some reason. Didn't
Mhm.
it feel like that to you during that time when she went to? She was dressed up and that's really funny now too because I really thought that was like a man the entire time. I'm like, that's Brahma dressing up in this hoodie like she's a Grim Reaper. She was trying to get him to summon the Earth, and also just based off the fact that Brahma is always hanging out with him because she could be doing a whole bunch of other stuff,
Yeah.
but she's always with Yama and even helping him with his job to some degree.
Now, sorry, just yawn like crazy.
Now
I
you're
I need
good.
I need to let everyone know something right now. Ain't no way in no way in hell. I'm about to be virtuous, non-blasphemous, be a good person, get executed by Indra, and my soul gonna suffer. No, the world is wrong. When they said they had to throw innocent souls in that bitch, I said, "There's oh, I'd be sick to my stomach right now. If I get reincarnated, I hate the gods forever, bro." Or whatever the case is, we're done. I'm my Kratos gimmick. I'm killing everybody. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming to everybody. Like it's just so crazy to me.
You know what's so interesting about this series? I guess
Go ahead.
this is gonna uh, this is gonna be phrased really weirdly, but you're gonna have to stick with me. Well, you're not gonna phrase it weirdly, but it's gonna say weird. It's gonna sound weird to say it out loud. What is the incentive in Kubera of being a good person? Like, like honestly,
You're not gonna
what?
be rewarded for it more often than not. I hear what you're saying. Go ahead though.
Like maybe you're rewarded for it in the afterlife, I guess. But what is your incentive to being a good person while you are alive? And I'm not saying that like
They
you
said
could ask that.
paradise is the only thing, but keep going.
But my thing is, if you're being, even then, bro, like
I know.
I guess
I
is
hear
that
you. I feel you. Keep going though. Keep going. I feel you though.
okay? So it's like yeah, because he's like I'm not saying that based off just like oh like why is anybody a good person? I'm saying that like if you're born on any of these planets or anything like that, you fight for your life every single day, and even more so than in the usual way that humans have to fight for their lives. Like, bro, like gods, suras, other people, like you gotta protect yourself and racism. Like, bro, like what is like it's like this is crazy, bro. This is like you can't survive without doing something that you didn't want to have to do, and then somebody's gonna have the balls to tell you that like, hey, look, you're weighing yourself down with your sins. I'm like, my sins? What about everybody else's sins? Like, can stop doing
Yeah.
can everybody just stop, bro? Like, that's how I feel running around in the world of Kubera. I'm just like, bro. In fact, if I had my choice, I don't even want to be here. I want to be with the ancient humans already gone or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
ain't part of it. I don't even want to be here, bro. It's too much.
I think that's a good topic of discussion. I'm gonna add to the general Kubera discussion we're gonna have next month. But I like that. What is the incentive? I don't like the paradise argument you guys are saying is well taken, but I think the problem with that is I would apply that in this narrative almost similarly to how I would apply it to real life. What if I don't believe in the gods? What if I don't believe in the afterlife like that? What if I don't believe in heaven and hell?
Or,
You
or,
know what I'm
or, think,
saying?
or think about it like this.
Hmm.
You got to be in paradise with gods who just watched you die or did nothing to help you, and you were worshiping them the entire time. Don't
Hmm.
that feel like really weird? It's like, oh, like the gods are the ones that have paradise and all stuff like that. But these are the same group of people that like you pray
Mhm.
to them, you expect them to help you, and they just might watch you get eradicated
Fear of
depending on the
hell is a
day.
better argument than paradise, I guess. That's I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I feel that.
I agree with that. Because even as a person even as a person who's very non-religious, I think about, am I really gonna cook and burn for eternity? So like,
Yeah, yeah,
that's fair.
crazy.
That's I like that. I like how you phrase that better.
And
So,
also, like, okay, think about it, even because like sins affect everybody, not just humans. So like, so think if I'm even if I'm a surah, right?
mhm,
And like the whole entire time, because like surahs don't really have about morality and stuff like that. You're telling me my ignorance led to me going going to burn because you know my fathers and masters and stuff like that. Just like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you get rid of humans or like you can't disobey Marona's sister. It's like I
mhm.
can't disobey like them. Like I'm gonna get cooked. And they were just like they're looking at you like, but you could have made a better choice. What better choice could I have made in this situation? I was gonna get cooked.
What
Like,
more do you want from me?
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Just like the intent, like in a lot of human ways, like we do in real life or other fictional pieces, there's a lot more incentive to just at least be able to be like you could go against because maybe you have a chance to like live your own life or go somewhere else and be or be uninterrupted. You can do whatever you want on another world or another planet or something like this. In Kubera, there is nowhere to go.
Mhm,
There, the influence of Gnostikas and gods and suras are everywhere. There is nowhere to go. Where are you going to go?
yeah.
You just be a good because at some point you're gonna have to deal with something that you didn't want to have to do.
And because our lifespans are so much shorter, we care so much are so much more invested in the immediate environment and communities around us. So we got to get our money, get our job, we gotta get our body right, and all the type of things. Where Soros just live for centuries upon thousands upon millions of years on average, even if you're like a 1,000-year-old child, stage one child. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I always think the contrasting lifespans in this universe is a theme that's pretty well explored, or a thing in the story is a thematic, something thematic in the, the story that's explored really well. I just had a malfunction in my brain, sorry, because I do think that they showcase and highlight that really well. Like, if I probably wouldn't be worried about so many type of things here if I know I'm living thousands of years and I'm just seeing humans come and go, come and go, come and go. I really might not think about them like that, you know. So like, I think she showcases that really well. Gods are real in curry first, though, no matter if you believe it or not. I guess my point is more so like, even like with was it Art Ram that said like, why would you guys put your faith in something if the world is fucked? These guys are not doing their job properly. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're
there's
real,
tons
but you
of
could
people
reject. Yeah, you could
who
reject them.
like even he's like, blasphemy is not real. Like, that's just shit that they say to make you like act accordingly. Like, that train of thought has to permeate a lot throughout the universe of Kubera, is what I'm saying. So if you're more in that atheist, blasphemous category, heaven or hell, judgment or paradise may not mean nothing to you. May not even believe in the concept, even if whatever. So that's all I'm saying.
See, okay, so I had another thought too when I read this all the time. They might have touched on it, but can't.
Mm, talk to
But
me.
like, so because I'm even thinking like this, right? So if you're a sewer, right? It's okay to eat other sewers. That's fine. Like for or at least from what I've seen, that's not going to add
Mm,
to your sins. But eating humans is wrong. But we don't do the same thing on the same level as like, what if a human just eats a chicken? Does that add to their sins? Like, what are we doing? Like, what adds to the sin and what doesn't? What is an acceptable thing? 'Cause, like in real life, if you believe in certain religions and stuff like that, you have a set of rules. You have some guide, some code to go by. What in Kubera do you have to go by? You don't got nothing. What does being a good person in Kubera mean? What rules am I following acceptable and what's not? Is it just
I'm trying
you
to
know
access
don't
silent
hurt?
magic, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, is it just not hurting anybody?
Mm.
Is it just do they care if you're racist? Does that not matter?
Maybe if the
Like,
chicken had intelligence.
no, because the reason I bring that up is because like one, we all know that every sin doesn't weigh the same, and also like is it because like a lot of things that seems to be weigh things in Kubera just seems to be completely different, also depending on your status and role and what your role is in the universe.
Mm,
Like me being a human, does me being indifferent, is that a large sin, like compared to like what Anata does, or is it because of his role in the story? Him
I heard
being
you
so
saying.
indifferent is, yeah, he has to bear that much weight because of how much things. Like if I'm a human, I'm indifferent. That could be nothing. I could have watched people get slaughtered all the time, but I'm a human, so they ain't expect nothing of me.
No,
So it's like whatever.
that's well said. I agree with that.
Yeah, there's no. Basically, I'm just saying there's no rules. There's no sets to go by. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I even get into?
It's
I
it's
just
it's
wait
it's
to be
actually like
destroyed.
not to go on this tangent. I'll keep it as brief as I possibly can. It's like how I speak about content creation, right? If I am a content creator with a gimmick shtick or something that, or I blow off something very specific, right? Even if that's not me, so let me use a very lame example, right? Let's say I'm like a dating coach or something on YouTube, and I'm like, you gotta be alpha. You gotta be alpha, omega alpha all the time, right? Right? And and let's say that's the video I made that blows up. That may not even be who I am and what I think. But now that I have the monetary incentive to lean into that, I have to do the wrestling thing, playing to K-fob, right? So everything that I'm seen doing or that I put out there has to be in line with me being alpha. I'm incentivized to lie, to posturize, and not be who I really am for fame, acclaim, and whatever, and gain. So in this world, I feel bad for anyone who's genuinely just a good person from top to bottom because you get fucked. It doesn't do much for you. That doesn't mean just go become a bad person, but I can see like what you're saying makes sense to me. So,
Yeah, like I don't understand like how way in this universe. Like, cause
mhm,
I don't know how much they factor in role, species, types of
mhm,
sin, because there's no commandment
mhm.
to go by.
I think it's
Because
lame if you're constantly and like, well, again, I don't believe in the alpha concept like that. I just said lame just because like, so I don't know, bro. Some of those not move. Some of that's not moving me. I got it's one of those things like I said in the pod episode that I did with Rena. Like I get it. I understand it. I know where it comes from. It's not entirely dumb or useless. It's just like take take one person and you could put them somewhere where they look completely incompetent or don't belong and they're the non alpha in the room. So I just can't with that. But okay.
see, and in this world too, I'm almost how do you? It's like, bro, there's always something happening, bro.
Yeah,
You just gotta
yeah,
get lucky.
yeah.
Living in some village that nobody's gonna, where nobody you be lucky if some
They go
tourists
to the
don't go run
void.
around.
The void. Extremely unfair. Rachika's that sin do get sent to hell.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm
Osu's
trying to cut. You know what I'm trying to do? I'm spending my whole man life trying to cut a deal. Like, can Rama come to Earth or wherever universe Rama come? Can I be like, can I be your assistant in the afterlife? Can I just do that?
yeah, I feel that.
That's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'll
Okay.
just
Mhm.
stack your bookshelf. That's what you got me to do.
So this part of the chapter was moving me. Obviously, there's some Yama focus. I like seeing the people who's working around them. Is that girl Brahma, by the way? Looks like Brahma to me. The one
Wait,
that
let me see.
teleported away with him. It might just look someone who kind of looks like Brahma. Like if you look here, the person with this pink thing on
Oh,
their head, like
all right,
very.
go look.
I'm willing to. I was willing to say it just has a similar design, but I didn't. But especially since she asked a certain question, but then she makes that face, and I don't think I've ever seen Brahma make a face like that. And Brahma
Those I say I ain't never seen.
it's also blowing gum, but chewing gum or whatever. But okay, so
See the
talking
Brahma
about
assistant. See,
um even 1,000 years, even though it's the minimum sentence that they're getting, 1,000 years in hell time is an unreasonable amount of pain for the innocent soul to take there. They have to do all the dirty work and everything. I thought it was very interesting. Sorry, I looked at the chat for a second. I lost my train of thought. Okay, yeah. So who's the culprit? Anata, Massivin, perhaps Garuda. You don't have to tell me, blah, blah, blah. And after this is the part that I really like because she's basically going into it talking about like who it could be. And you see Yama there looking a certain way. He doesn't say anything. And then it goes to the flashback with the last thing that I guess he talked to with Indra about before he left. So you're gonna frame Nata as evil. You're all seriously agreeing with this? Bullshit. I won't stand for this. And Nata doesn't deserve to be treated like this. And after Chandra goes, there's no reason to treat him well either. I love this nigga. I don't know.
Oh, he one of those, man. He a contrarian for the sake of there. I promise.
Bro, could you? That is, I don't know what I would say. Like, bro, don't even treat him. Don't treat him like shit. But there's no reason to treat him good though. That's what he said. Like, bro, like that's crazy to me. I love Chandra so much, bro. Even though
Nah, I
he
do
holds
too.
the
Like,
greatest power, he was a bystander to most of the great events of this universe. Now, here's what ties back into something I spoke about earlier. Amongst the things we could not stop because of our lack of ability, there are more than a few he could have prevented. This is, in my opinion, tying to the collective viewpoint of how many gods and people here see Anatta as an entity. And it's like,
mm-hmm.
useless ass nigga couldn't even stop the cataclysm or whatever the case is, whatever events they could be
Referring
referring
to,
to.
yeah,
I find that that's part of the reason why he's so alone and kind of does the things that he does. Like, I I question why she named this current arc Anata if we're not going to somewhat somehow properly tie into something meaningful about him. And I think we're getting there slowly but surely, even if a lot of this is implicit and we can't really see it connecting. So,
yeah. Also, with that, with what he said, I'm always thinking like, are they only saying that kind of because he didn't do anything for them?
mhm,
Or was this just in totality supposed to be for the greater future? And why does it feel like if he's supposed to prevent great offense? Because my thing is with them, because we've seen the gods in this series destroy humans or not do it themselves, obviously, but like they'll allow things to slide or allow things to the greater thing. But my thing is the greater future always revolved around him stopping other Suras and Gnostikas?
mhm.
Or is it like did it have to do with stopping them potentially too? Like, did they make wrong? Are they taking acknowledgement of wrong choices maybe they made that he could have stopped? Or like, what are they referring to? I'm really curious what events he's talking
No, you're
about.
right.
And
And then to what Anatanaga said, why should he stop those events though?
yeah,
And that, and I honestly, all things considered, I think that's a very fair question.
exactly. What is the benefit?
Servers are still around. Also feel like how God Kubera and Agni are just excluded in their discussion. That's funny. I didn't even think about Agni not being there because he's a nature god, Fizan. But they seem to be causing their problems. Is how they're mad at him for not stopping them? Like you see, I truly believe this is one of these scenarios in a story where you could look at this from so many angles because of all the unknown variables, right? So I don't think anything that I've read about this so far has been wrong. I don't know, depending on your perspective, and maybe the way that your upbringing has kind of socialized you. You probably see this in different ways. I'm I'm calling upon my own personal experience of being forced into leadership roles where people just want to expect you to do things. So I can kind of see it from a Nata's point of view. So that's why I'm looking at it the way that I'm looking at it. But at the end of the day, they ended up siding with what Indra ended up doing because it's like the ends always justify the means. This helps us stay in this universe for as long as possible and maintain it, then we have no choice but to agree with it. And they even said even Asvent and Surya would have agreed to this. Do you think Surya would have agreed to this? Because he said there's no reason for this. Do you think if they had explained that this is for the universe reluctantly?
Maybe
Okay,
I could always say reluctantly maybe
okay.
people would agree because that always seems to be the thing. Because it when I talk about a lot of these characters, it doesn't feel like they're just jumping for joy to get a chance to this and that. But they always, like you said, they're always just like the ends justify the means. So nobody else has a better plan. So just go along
Hmm.
with this one. Yeah, my thing is they don't challenge enough if there is a better plan. It doesn't ever feel like to me it feels like they're just too like, oh well, he came up with this plan, so we're gonna go with. They don't even attempt to talk it out because it always feels like they're rushing into action too because they're just like, there's no time. We had to make a decision. Somebody made one. Let's just
Yep.
And it never feels like they're just like, you know what, let's wait it out. Let's wait. Let's see how this plays out, or see this, or maybe we can do something to like edge it towards the direction that we want, or anything. Like they don't do seem to do anything of that nature. They're just like, yeah, you know what? You came up with a good plan. Let's just go with that. They don't care to do anything else. So
Hmm. Ultimately, wait, hold on. Clash of philosophies. Anata's basically retelling his life every time, and without winning, he ended up agreeing. Like, nah, imagine if I blam the guy in front of you and then get mad at you for not saving the guy. You look up and say, of course I would. Because we sound funny. Not in the end, it's like playing a video game and everything ends up poorly and restart the game from the beginning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now, the extra additive layer that I had here, damn it, what did I want to say quickly? Damn it, that's what I thought. Okay. Now, conversely, here's like I think the opposing view to this on the other side of the spectrum that I think is interesting, right? So let's say there were 30 major events throughout, I don't know, let's say 1,000 years between in the universe, and Anata intervenes and helps and saves and stops every single one of them. The issue that I have now is what is everyone else going to do? Anytime there's something they can't do, they're just going to immediately rely on who? I don't think people often understand codependency and becoming complacent because you rely on something way too often to help you. And the thing I'm gonna use as an example is technology. I don't use shit like Siri, don't talk to me AI, and stuff like that too. Because the moment I realized I was forgetting phone numbers because I couldn't just save them in my phone directory and have to like remember them anymore, I realized how easy it is to rely on technology to do certain things for you, and you get fucking lazy, complacent, and more incompetent. So I do think there would be an overall issue of competency between amongst important people in the universe if Anata was just doing all the important work all the time, every single time. I don't know if you guys agree with that
no, I agree with that. But that's just me. I think we think kind of the same.
though. Okay.
Something like that.
So yeah. But even though the possibility is about, I don't know, but you can't get better things, get things better. Ask Vishnu, best possibilities probably longer lifespan in the universe. That's so vague. I mean, there's stuff only gods can do, and there's stuff only Anata could help. Though his raw power and authority over Surahs, like Anata can't help with the restoration of the universe. So fair enough. So he can't do everything, okay, but still, that I guess part of the reason is like sometimes when I can do something, I say no just so you take it upon yourself to take some agency, accountability, or control of all the things you need to do yourself. Like do the action yourself. For case in point, I I rarely take like one of my siblings to places because my parents take them everywhere, and as a result, they always expect a ride somewhere, and I'm not with that. So, can you take them to work? Nope. You're grown. You're an adult. Figure your way out to work. Why am I taking you to your job to make money? Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of have that kind of mindset. So, anyways, this is where Chandra says they left. They're so quick tempered. Blah blah blah. Now this is where Indra comes for Yama. Well. In the end, it only seems the only one in opposition is you, Yama. Don't pretend like you're the only clean one. It'll only make the end results worse anyway. Remember those souls you so generously let go in the beginning? As they were reincarnated with grudges in the coming of age ceremony system was broken, in the end the whole race became a singular the whole race became a singular piece of waste. Left alone, that race would have been a great source of power until the end of the universe if ground up properly. But because of you, we had to get rid of it. Ever since then, you have always stayed in the back. Don't you consider yourself a bit of a coward? And that bothered him. You can see it there. And he's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this shit myself. Yeah, I'm gonna. It is necessary for you to stay qualified for paragraphs. He said, back off. And this is my favorite part. I think this is so cool. Even visually, everything. From all the finite beings in this place, 100 years of lifespan are subtracted. You see all the souls coming out. You see how beautiful that shit is looking? All the pretas, they coming up. This nice panel, all the little circular souls everywhere, and then he gonna get to the bottom of the case. It won't go your way, Indra. Even if it's just to not be left with regrets like I was back then. If you don't know exactly what he's talking about, he's I don't. I will stop you by any means necessary. He's the goat, bro. He's the goat. The goat. So Kurigov's comments in the TN here is really, 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 really interesting. So Kubera's threatening gesture somehow seems to be a habit. He's always choking everyone like that and talking to them, like grabbing their face like that. From the blog, the skill Yama used is not the base of Hatayama. It's an insta kill, no delay. Also, if Sora's had lifespans, the strongest in the universe would probably be Anata. Not, but not be Anata, but Yama. Yama. Yama season. That shit crazy, bro. He's strong, bro. That's my goat. But that's essentially what happened in the last couple of chapters. But he's like, I'm not gonna let you win, Indra. I don't. But ultimately, it's like he probably can't go against the proper way he needs the universe to go. But he's taken more agency and being more proactive with things, which I like about it. I hope to see a bit more of Yama and see him do a bit more. But that was really I. This was probably my favorite chapter of Anata, if not one of my favorite ones. I thought it was really solid. So, um, I think what Yama regrets is not letting all the ancient souls go back then. Just how Billis says, the only sane god is Yama. Hey, that's my goat. Good panel, but we know for a fact Yama couldn't stop Anata's death. Yeah. I think the idea was that like maybe this is a lifespan removing move, insta kill, whatever. So maybe if Sora's had it too, basically he could go up against Sora's because he can just take away or subtract their lifespan and stuff. But yeah, amongst the gods, my favorite pair is Agni Yama. Agni and Yama are my favorite two, probably. Chandra, I would say. Those three. Surya, I don't think I've seen enough of. What am I forgetting? What's the water one? I want to say Varuna. That's crazy.
Talking about
Anyways,
just regular guys, I think it's yeah.
okay. But anyway, Varuna. Okay, I was right. Yeah, Varuna. Okay, I was like, did I just make that up? It's not Varuna. But anywho, I think that this arc is. I mean, I don't really think Kuragama has bad arcs or anything like that, but I've been enjoying this. This is really good. This is interesting. At the end of the day, just to reiterate here, I don't think Indra's a bad character. I actually like Indra and I enjoy him. But right now, my God, the God of Death, and the King of Hell. I don't even know. They never referred to him as that, but I'm calling him the King of Hell. Yama is not on Indra's side, so right now it's F Indra. We rocking
So
with
were
Yama.
were
Okay?
you including Prometheus in your list?
Me, yes. Yama's my favorite god in general. Fourth
Okay, for
Zen, one Zen, zero Zen, Prometheus, my favorite.
okay, so
Agni could take his throne back. He just hasn't been around like that, you know? I think Agni could take his throne
okay,
back.
so if I had to pick, it's probably Agni, Brahma, Yama, then Vishnu right
Mm,
after that, and then Kali. That's top five if we include the Prometheus. But if no Prometheus, then it's Agni, Yama, and
mm.
Vashu or whatever how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
The wind one, the
yeah.
one that got resurrected
Vayu?
near the end. Yeah, he was
Mm,
cool. I like
okay.
him.
Varuna.
If we're not including the Prometheus.
Yeah, I got you. All I'm gonna say is Yama, the one who we seeing a lot in the present day, not Indra. Okay, hold on. And as it comes to Yamas in these webtoons, I'm just gonna say this is superior Yama. Indra thinks that Yama regrets letting those souls go to truth is opposite. Varuna's murder. Indra's a well-made character. I just don't like him. You see, I think some people when I say it, they don't get it. I don't know why. It's like this is a good character. They're well written, but I personally, subjectively, with all bias involved, I'm not rocking with them. It's really that simple. That's all. the god of hell, chilling on his couch. Agnes, too selfless for my taste. Chandra the goat. I actually, that's very funny. I think people who are too kind, too selfless, or try to do too much good are actually not a good thing because they get abused and used all the time. So I think Chandra's kind of bluntness and pragmatism is something that I probably resonate a tiny bit more. But I know Agnes sometimes gets fucking mad. He's like, all right, enough. I need to get some shit done. So yeah.
I like Chandra and I like most of his character, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The way that he talked to Lila when her master died, he fooled him. He was talking great. He said, "I can't believe that old biddy
Mhm.
just went out like that." I said, "Bro, I can't believe."
Yo, shout out Clary. Y'all hating on her, bro. Sorry. But yeah. He's a funny. Andrew's a great character. He's funny, but he's insufferable. He's despicable. I feel that. But anyways, did you have any final words to chime in?
Yama. What a guy. What a guy.
What an
What else can
inspiration.
I say?
Ins-
Yeah, yeah.
Generational
What
talent.
a art round. What a character. Everybody in with pink hair and Kubera has
Chess. Oh yeah, okay, I feel it.
Chess, Arivata, even Kanari. None of them pink hair win. What else?
They're really out here.
Yeah,
Why
no, that's
why
it.
is this behind you
That's
like
all I
that?
got.
Was that always like that? The what? Remove. Why is this here twice is my question, but it's okay. But yeah, Clary, arguably the worst character. She did the drown in water. The goth
The
XCM was
Fishman.
going,
You
oh
talking about the
shit.
fish woman?
Yeah. Clary's one of.
Crying.
I just be laughing because like
She's annoying.
I
Yeah.
don't know, bro. She kind of raw.
No, I think she's needed though
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
yeah.
she's a character that, like I said, does a lot of pushback and doesn't like she doesn't agree different. So like
Mm.
even though she's annoying,
Oh
it's
wow, they
really
needed
good
the
to have a
background
character like that.
image. Yeah, sorry. No, keep going. I gotta put the
No, you're good. No,
background
she
back.
just she's just good because like I said, hey, there's people like that in the real world. I read comments. She didn't like Lee's because she thought Lee's was ugly, but there's people like that in real life.
Yeah.
Some people just look at you, think you're ugly, and
You,
they just elevate you.
you nigga.
Crying. Why you airing me? Why you airing?
Nah, we could no, we could keep it fully. We could keep it a bean here. It's the same way to be like
Yeah.
you guys be like, oh, here comes Naya's fat phobia when you see your chungus.
Uh, crying. See, but I don't do that to people in real. I do that when they like
Only when they come for you
stand there like that.
disrespectfully. I know.
Yeah. Because then I'm looking at them like, can't believe.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Clary could probably has be underwater. The fish is interesting. Clary ish on leaves because he's ugly. The fish belongs in water. I know. I wanted to drown as a fish because she's that bad. You think we're gonna see the spell Ida Itu Indra be used in the present timeline? If it gets used, it's gonna be somebody who's like who would have a connection to probably something related to this moment, either the 11 planets or something, or descendant of. I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't thought about it. I really haven't. Cause she that bad. Lee's look better than her. Roosh was right. Shout out Roosh and Roosh. I like them. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go eat. Thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate it. I'll probably post up the I guess safe part of this discussion on Wednesday. I already have a video coming up tomorrow. I might reverse it. So if you guys see this video go up, just drop a like and a comment for me. Help me out with the algorithm. And y'all be safe, man.
I'm walking this beat with the drugs.